Dangle Podcast. Powered by Sports Interaction. Wanna bet?
SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast. With your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
Don't worry, guys. It'll be a couple weeks before the Leafs get what they deserve.
Yeah.
That's what they deserve. Whatever it is in 2 weeks, whether it's a win or a loss, they deserve it. Thank you, Chris Wideman of the Montreal Canadiens.
Steve's like, I can't hear anything in my headphones.
It's not plugged.
I am holding.
I'm sitting right next to Steve. Do you need the headphones to work?
Yeah,
Or-
no.
No,
you
it
need
sounds
headphones.
like I have water in my ear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Can you plug them in?
Hey, plug them in, Steve.
I thought I had a good intro,
This one?
and then you guys are worried about Steve's headphones.
They're not plugged in.
Oh, that's
on,
excellent.
guys. Gee.
Well, that sounds much better.
Chris Wideman says, at WrestleMania, the Leafs will get what they deserve. Can you do it like a WrestleMania promo if you're Chris Wideman?
Let me tell you, Leafs, you think you can just start
Get
a
it- get it in your
university
mic.
student against us and have him win and like we're going to forget about it? At SummerSlam, the Montreal Canadiens are going to rise to the top and we're going to get you right back. That is, if the Tampa Bay Lightning don't get you first. Dig it. Yeah. Yeah.
We're speaking about, Jesse and I were at the game on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Adam brought me to his season suite.
That was not my
You've
season suite.
upgraded.
I have not.
Your
but
seats are so good.
It was we're working with MasterCard a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was their suite, and then we were lucky enough, both of us, to be invited to that.
I was the +1.
Okay, yeah.
Adam
sure.
was the one there doing the work.
To Adam's season seats. Were the
Yeah.
waitstaff attentive? They better have
Steven.
Yeah.
What? They were not my seats.
Oh.
I don't have
No,
seats.
but speak about the wait staff.
didn't say yes.
They were lovely, correct?
Actually, she was great. She was
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
She was on it. Actually, I was going to tweet this out.
What's
and
her
I
name?
did- and I didn't. I don't
You
remember.
piece of
I don't
shit.
remember anyone's name. You know that. It's not anything against her. I don't know anyone's name.
No, I don't know anyone.
I remember when Maddie started at Virgin Radio.
Who?
I accidentally called her Maggie once. Like,
Did you?
Like, why?
Maggie?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm like, I'm literally
For
bad
a
at
couple
this.
months, she just
No,
said.
it wasn't for a couple months.
No, I believe
No,
her.
it wasn't. You're lying.
I believe her.
No,
it
like
was
2
for a
years
couple
of
months.
being
No,
Maggie?
it wasn't. Maddie is. Oh, now I'm being defamed.
Oh,
I don't like
no.
this. You know what, Maddie? Like Chris Wideman says, you get what you deserve in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Adam, what
in a
level,
couple weeks
what
when I learn
level
her
of
name.
income does someone have to get to for you to remember their name? Like, what tax bracket do they have to be in?
Listen, if you're not in the what's the highest tax bracket in this country?
have no
55% or something. It's a crazy high number.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What do,
Yeah,
bill-
that's that
what do
one.
billionaires get taxed at?
That's a good question. Oh, they get tax zero.
Ah.
They get tax zero.
What's Galen Weston like in real life?
Sweater vest at every party.
Did you tell the Stroll family to be faster?
I did. I
Yes.
did, and they listened.
Yes, they did.
They listened. I'm very excited about that Aston Martin car. Yeah. So I get to the seat. Jesse's already there.
Yes.
And
You were late.
And I was not late. I was there at 7:00.
You were late because no NHL game since like 2005 has started on time.
No.
It is. I don't know what's wrong with the NHL in-game operations across the league, but a 7:00 start is now like 7:25.
So, I mean,
I don't know, man.
and you know what the thing is too, Jesse? They always bitch and whine and complain about how they got to keep overtime short because they got to meet other TV schedules. If you started the games on time, we could have a full 10-minute 3-on-3 overtime.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that's why they don't call any penalties. They don't want to slow the game down.
It could be that.
It could be that.
Could be. I mean, penalties shouldn't take that long either. It takes a long time for people to get to the box. It's like sometimes they're yelling and they're not skating. It's like, just go get out of here, get off the ice, shut up.
Or, yeah, shove them to make it faster.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? Dan
right?
Kelly had a point. He had a
So
point.
so I
So
get
yeah, you get to the game.
I get to the game, and anyway, at the box, I bought a beer, and at the end of the night, I'm settling up my beer, and I get my debit card out, and it's one beer, and the price is
I'm going to say $23.
it's the Leafs. What's the price?
23.
What's the price for the Leafs? I'm gonna ask you one more time.
67?
67.
1967.
No way.
I have the receipt. I have a picture of it. If you want to.
Do they do that on purpose?
No. So
Surely, yes.
Yeah.
okay. So talking about looking like a rich asshole, I look. This is
I
literally
lived my life.
on the pin pad. The pin pad. That is from the box.
1967 purchase, okay, and it's Adam, so there's no tip.
Yeah,
like,
no.
right? So
We
you know,
hadn't got to the tip option yet.
Yeah, no.
We hadn't even got to the tip option.
No, he just
yet.
keeps pressing green.
So
Steven.
So anyway,
Steven.
So I look over at her, and automatically I assume that she knows exactly what I'm talking about, because I'm like, my life is perpetually on this podcast. Because if I looked over at you guys would like have a chuckle about that. I looked over at her and I said, "Are you kidding me with this?"
She probably
then
thought,
she
well,
looked
I
at-
guess I'm just gonna get screamed at by some other rich
Yeah,
asshole.
and then she said, "Well, what's the matter?" And I said, "Well, it's 1967." Not getting that she wasn't getting it. And then she's like, "Well, that's what it costs." And I was like, no. And then she's like, "What?" And I'm like, explain. I'm like, the last time the Leafs won the cup was 1967. She's
Adam,
like,
she just works
and then
there.
she was like, "Man, why are you hassling me?" And she's like, "I thought you were going to be an a-hole." And I said, "Oh no, I know beer is expensive."
She's not.
Better
She's
have
not
tipped
like a.
100%.
I know.
She's not a
felt
team
terrible.
employee or anything. She works for
I know,
Scotiabank.
but like
Like,
in
she
my
doesn't
mind, it was
have
like,
to know that.
You must at least know this.
Like she works the Raptors games too. Like
I know. Anyway, so are you kidding me with this? That was my. That's not a great.
And after the game, he went and had drinks with Kate Goslin.
That's right.
Oh, yes,
That's
obviously.
Right. Full. Yeah. So okay. I want to
Not
talk
Ryan.
about.
He wasn't.
The other thing was when I walked in, Jesse's like, "Do you know the Leafs have signed somebody named Jet Alexander to back them up tonight?" And I said, "Like, really? No emergency call up?" He's like, "I guess Will went down to the Marlies. We'll get to that in a second."
Yeah.
And so the game plays out, and with 70 seconds to go, this U of T 8.
I also told you something else that was very important for
What was
that
it?
game. Wayne Simmons. He was in the lineup.
But
and-
hang on, I want to finish the Jet Alexander
okay.
story. So because this is where it pertains to Chris Wideman, right?
Yes.
How loud were all the fans when they said, "Boo! We don't like this. Whatever happened to sportsmanship? This moment is terrible. I won't remember this or tell anyone."
So the Habs, if you didn't watch the game, dressed Laval, right? They've had a ton of injuries. They weren't even that good to start. They have a really good vibe around the team, but let's be honest, it's a rebuild year.
It was Laval and Brendan Gallagher.
Yeah,
that was the team.
And they were like, and it was funny because like whenever the Leafs got called on a power play after, called on a penalty, called for a penalty after the first period, like Sheldon wasn't even putting Mitch Marner out there anymore. It would be like Noel Achari and Alex Kerfoot.
My favorite thing to happen all game was William Nylander got to play on the penalty kill.
Yeah.
It was
he
ultimate
honestly,
disrespect.
He should have had a hat trick. He
was on fire.
He was crazy good. But the thing was, like it was just no competition. And when the Habs went on the power play, they couldn't even get set up.
Their power play's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, it is.
Even when they're good, it's terrible.
100%. So it's something they got to work on. But so 70 seconds left. It's like 6-1. And you put in this guy, Jet Alexander, who's a U of T goalie, if I get...
U of T.
So you give him the experience of a lifetime. How incredible. And what I don't understand is afterwards, and I guess if you're the media in Montreal, like I'm trying to look at it from their perspective, you got to find... If you're a team, I get Chris Wideman's comment. Because if you're an athlete, like Tom Brady would win the Super Bowl year after year, and he'd be like, "No one thought we could do this." And we'd be like, "Tom, I think we kind of thought like you were the odds-on betting favorite.
Yeah.
I bet I put $2 on you. I just won $2 back.
Wasn't it
That's all I
Travis
won."
Kelce who's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, no one thought the Kansas City Chiefs were any good."
No, the Chiefs this year, honest to God, thought they were underdogs.
That's athletes being a mess with it. So
I thought they said Steph Curry couldn't shoot.
So I get Chris Wideman's perspective on that because he's trying to get his team fired up.
Yeah.
He's trying to win a job next year. Because let's be honest, Chris Wideman is not an NHL regular, even on this Habs team.
No.
And so I get it. If you're a guy who's on the fringe, you want to push. You want to be a great attitude, great leader. This is you do it for the what's on the chest, and you're a Montreal Canadian. There's history, blah blah blah. But then the media in Montreal taking it the next level, which is it's bad sportsmanship and good sportsmanship.
What was the one tweet you guys sent? Who filled their diaper the maximum?
TSN Steve, I believe, is his. Yeah.
Which is me, but evil.
Steve Warney.
Oh.
Or Warren. Now he
I don't know.
he was a TSN radio morning host for a long, long time. And I guess what he said was, and I'll just kind of read it out to you. There's an etiquette to how you treat an NHL opponent in a blowout.
No, there isn't. Continue.
You don't put your top power play out there late in the game just for fun. You don't put your top center on defense just for fun. And you don't put your emergency goalie in just for fun. Respect them to the end.
What are you talking about, top center on defense?
So here's the thing is that if Montreal wants to start Laval against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Toronto Maple Leafs are A, trying to lock up home ice advantage in the playoffs, and B, trying to get tuned up for the playoffs, you use that as a practice game.
Don't be down 7-1.
Yeah, dude.
Like don't suck.
Yeah.
I almost understand the Jet Alexander criticism more than the power play one. Like, listen, you know I'm a Leafs fan, right? But I do have a reverence for the history and the greatness of the Montreal Canadiens. Imagine the Montreal Canadiens teams of the past listening to this bullshit.
Oh.
Imagine Maurice Richard.
Guy
Lafleur, like
Bernie Jeffrey.
Guys, it's unfair.
Yeah.
We weren't on our game tonight, and you shouldn't have scored so many goals against
The
us.
reason why you lose the power play after you score is because the Montreal Canadiens scored too many goals when you used to get the full 2 minutes no matter how many times you score. You should just be able to keep your power play and just keep scoring goals, and they dominated teams too much. They had to change the fucking rule.
The Habs used to step on your throat so hard that they had to significantly change the rules.
They changed hockey.
Yeah.
Like, that is a fundamental part of the game. Power play ending when you score a goal. It's because of this team. They used to run up the score.
And is it because they lacked sportsmanship?
Yes.
Yes. No, it's because they were fucking great.
Right.
And
They
no one-
were great.
And no one complains about it.
No, like I can't imagine anyone who has ever worn that crest ever complaining about that.
So I think, and I understand the rivalry. I understand even the media gets into it, right? We get fired up. I love watching the Leafs crush the Canadians. I love watching the Leafs crush the Sens. I hate watching the Boston Bruins crush the Leafs. I hate it. But
I hate watching the Boston Bruins win the past two ways that they've beaten the Leafs.
100%,
which is they win a close game.
I'd
I'd rather them kill them.
But, I think
That's not true.
what this is at the heart of it is a really nice sort of moment for this Jet Alexander person who we may never hear from again. He got to get into an NHL game. He got an NHL check. He got an NHL jersey. No one can ever take that away from him, no matter how much Chris Wideman or Steve Warren or any of the other people want to cry about it. And I think that's the part that I really love, is that this is those 70 seconds were his 70 seconds.
Jesse, watch this. Adam, who's Matt Berlin?
I don't care. No, I'm kidding.
That's a fine answer.
I'm joking, by the way.
That's a fine answer.
What is it? No, I don't know who Matt Berlin is.
He made a wall.
Oh, that was Matt's wall.
Yeah, that was Matt's wall.
Ironically, he is a goalie.
Okay.
He's a
the
goalie
Berlin Wall.
who the Oilers signed to a tryout contract this year. I think he was a U of Alberta goalie.
Yes.
Okay.
And he played like a minute for them in the final minute of a game where they were killing their opponent. That happened this season. Do
Yeah.
you remember anyone complaining about it?
We talked about it on the show. I think it was Hyman. He was good friends with.
Oh, that's cool.
I believe you.
Yeah, I forget who it was, but yeah, we talked about it on the show. But those moments, they live forever with that person. But they come and pass in the NHL. Like, it's a great thing at the time, but like that's something that lives with Matt for the rest of his life. He hangs that jersey up, and imagine like you're Matt or you're Alexander, and somebody's sitting there poo-pooing on the greatest moment of your life.
Here's what would have
That
been
sucks.
incredible. And I kind of wish this happened. It's a face-off in the Leaf zone. Jet Alexander started with a defensive zone draw. Habs should have pulled the goalie. Fuck this guy. Score on him.
Yeah.
On your first shot, score on him.
There's no shots on goal.
Send out your top power play unit. Send out 5 forwards and a D. Score on him. Like, why not?
Yeah, but again, their top power play unit's not very good.
Well, then you should shut the fuck up. That's what I do.
Yeah.
The whole point
I
is don't
maybe
be
could-
down 7-1 and nobody's going to clown on you.
Well, and I let me ask you this: like, professional athletes, right? They're taught from the beginning to lean on. If you see a weakness, you lean on that. If there's a little space in the armor, you hit that. If they're just coming back from a broken thumb, slash them across that thumb.
There's a reason they don't disclose injuries in the playoffs,
right?
Because people are psychotic and will hurt you. And
this goes back to the dumbass era of Don Cherry bullshit Saturday night. I've never agreed with this take, even when I was a little kid. And his whole thing was, oh, you don't want to anger the hockey gods, blah 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 blah. Like you don't want to disrespect your opponent because they might do it to you the next time. Well, how about you just do it? If they don't have the self-respect to show up for a game, and they get their ass handed to them, then maybe they learned a lesson. And if they do it to you next time, then that's on you. But how about you? Why would you make your life harder? Fuck them, man. This is competition. Why would I let up?
What's funny is I think that's born from the Leafs lit up the Bruins for the Darryl Sittler game where he had 10 points. Mm-hmm. And then the Bruins didn't lose to the Leafs for something like 4 years. But, like, lean into that.
Because the Leafs sucked.
Lean into that. Like, say, hey, here's what happens. Here's what happens. You want to go at us? We'll go right back at you.
Yeah.
We will never forget this.
That's good. That's competition. They hate each other. Great. We like that. I don't understand. I've never understood that. And I think, like, it's one of the only sports I've seen where it's like it's ingrained a little bit in the culture. Like, wow, you gotta be nice to your opponents. What? But being respectful of your opponent, if you let them up, I think that's patronizing. I think you're patting them on the head and going, all right, like little kindergarten kid, enjoy your day at class.
I think the NBA should have more sportsmanship. Alley-oop, nuts on your head. They don't care.
No. And
do
in
not
fact,
give a shit.
What I love about the NBA is they'll disrespect you by playing their entire bench in the fourth quarter. If they're really up, that's the ultimate disrespect to me. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's a little different because you look at other sports where there are ways to let up on your opponent, like playing your bench. Like in football, you can take out the quarterback if you're up too many. But in hockey,
have your outfielder pitch.
Yeah, like literally, when you're down by too much, you throw in a position player and he's pitching, he's throwing 40-mile-an-hour knuckleballs. You know, it's fun. But in hockey, you still got to keep the rotation because you can only play 2 minutes at a time. So your top line's going to get out there at some point. And how can you tell these guys, hey, don't score? Like, no, the top line's got to be on the ice because that's the nature of the game. And they're going to still try to play their game. It's your problem to stop them.
Yep.
That's what it comes down to.
I think it was the click harvest is what it was.
It's the last good story of the year for most of the media there anyway.
Until May when they win the draft lottery.
Yeah.
But it's, you're going to have a month of famine, basically. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get a whole lot of clicks. There's only so many feel-good think pieces you can write about, I don't know, like Cole Caulfield's recovery and just wait for Arbor Jacki to get back. Like, at some point, you need something to talk about with the actual games, which do not matter for the Montreal Canadiens right now. So you get pumped by the Leafs. People are mad. How do I capitalize on that? You talk about this power play that did let up on them. I feel like that's lost in the whole narrative. They did let up by starting their second unit. What do you want? The fourth line? Have some pride. And then
they want David Kampf.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Yeah. And they took a feel-good story. And then what if he fucking scores on you? Right?
No, he's not allowed to.
Well, he can't.
No.
He can't.
No.
Stop being a pants-shitting baby, I guess is what I'm getting at. And then and there's Jed Alexander, which is a great story. And then Chris Wideman drops a golden egg of a quote, which is just
a great quote.
We shouldn't mind that.
I don't.
It's the media being upset. Chris Wideman should be trying to be upset. He should be upset about this.
That's what I'm saying.
He's
But
way more popular with Habs fans today than he was before he said that.
Oh yeah, like that's the guy who should be poking the bear, poke the Leafs.
Like you're looking
he's fighting
forward
for a job next year.
Yeah, and the one piece of feedback I had for him in my LFR is, listen, the Habs are going to be good pretty soon. And when they are, he ain't going to be there.
Unless you're like the Leafs and it takes you 6 years to figure out your defense.
Could be that.
Yeah.
Could be that. No, I think
there was a time where the Leafs were so thin on defense, I would have been happy with him playing with Jake Gardner.
Oh, man.
And that's when they were making the playoffs. They were terrible on defense.
He's had a very strange career.
He has.
Very strange career.
So I think to kind of sum it all up, get Chris Wideman's quote, get it. Don't understand the whole respect. Well, like, okay, remember when the Leafs lost 9-2 to Nashville? That was a big turning point in Steve's career. And because it actually like took him to the next level.
He
too,
pooped
which is
himself live on
hilarious.
camera.
Talk about pan shitting. But
It was also a month
Did
into
you-
the podcast's first regular season.
did you at any point
That's a lie. Second. Sorry.
Did you at any point during that video say, and I can't believe Nashville didn't take it easy on the Leafs?
No, because I'm pretty sure their leading scorer was Taylor Beck. The Leafs were just shit.
You're terrible.
They were just ass.
Yeah, and it wasn't about, if you want respect, you have to earn it. You don't just get it.
Ritu Peck.
It's exactly.
Ritu Peck.
If you're going to get Ritu
Yeah.
Peck, it takes a while. Now, I do want to throw this out there. There was some controversy before yesterday's game. The Leafs had a...
Can we talk about Wayne Simmons?
Oh, Wayne. Okay, so let's
No.
talk about Wayne. So Jesse also says to me, he's like, this could be Wayne Simmons' last
Yeah,
time.
I was like, Adam, how dare you show up late? This could be Wayne Simmons' last career game. I thought maybe it's last home game ever. Like, we give him a nice round of applause and all that, but it looked like it was going to be his last career game.
I hope he plays tonight.
But yeah, he might get into one of these away games.
Really hope he plays tonight.
We got
he should play
Tampa, we
tonight.
got New York. You know, he probably should beat up on them a little. It'll be nice.
Or at very least, keep the peace.
Yeah, and during that game, I don't know, Adam, if you felt it, but I kind of felt it. Like, he knew that this could be it. He goes out there.
Oh, yeah.
He fights.
He played great.
He played unreal. He drew a penalty early on. I think it
Almost
was
had a
for
breakaway
two.
in the first period.
Yeah, almost had a breakaway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
winning puck battles, and man, I got to tell you, I've liked this player from his first preseason game in the NHL. Michael Pezzetta is out of his mind. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
going head toe-to-toe with Wayne?
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like to give him that honor. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess someone had to do it,
I also think if you're Michael
but not
Pezzetta,
really. Like you do.
do you hate the fact that Wayne tuned you a little bit? Like, it's kind of a... Like, I'm sure you don't love getting a punch to the
badge
face.
of honor.
Okay,
But you like-
normal people do not want that, but he's in the NHL, so he's not normal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I almost feel like, hey, listen, Wayne and I, when his career's done and he's talking about fights or whatever, he'd be like, I once fought Wayne Simmons. It was one of his last games, and it was an honor.
People. Like,
I think
dude,
that's probably how it was.
Yeah.
from the first game I watched him, I'm like, I don't know how good this player is. He's gonna get an NHLPA pension. Because he's going to be in this. He works too hard
He's
and
good.
he's too willing to do everything
Yeah.
to be denied.
And the reason Montreal is scary is that they have a couple guys like that. Arbor Jacki, I think, is the exact same mentality. And that dude is going to be around for a long time. Because,
Same mentality, except he's not willing. He'll just kill you.
right.
It's completely different.
Yeah. And with Wayne, one thing you could see if you have season seats and you're in the building
All the
is
time,
that
look at him, yeah.
when he came out of the box after he served the 5-minute, the entire bench is there, stick taps.
Yep.
You know,
He's so
they,
great.
They appreciate him. They love him, and it was a cool moment. I think he recognized what it could be, and you know, if this is it for Wayne, like he doesn't get into a playoff game, like what a career.
I gotta be
there
honest
any
with you.
Hats off to that
I
guy.
gotta be honest with you. The way he played against, and I get it's a depleted Montreal lineup, and everybody looked good, but he plays like that. I don't see how he doesn't get into a playoff game.
Dude,
Like he
his
was, and I've been on of the three of us. I've been the most on him this year.
unpopular opinion, I think he's had more good games this year than bad.
I agree.
He's had a few bad.
Agree.
I think with Matthew Nyes being the reserve now, it kind of pushes him out.
Yeah.
Well, and Holmberg and there's
There's too
they
many
have lots of
bodies.
guys.
There's too many bodies now. I think Wayne's a little. He might be 13 or 14. You know, or sorry, like
You never know.
15. I don't know.
It might,
but we'll
might
see.
call for it.
Yeah, might get in. But yeah, hats off to Wayne.
I think so. So yeah, the Wayne thing was great, and it also brought the state, like the arena, to its feet. Like when they booted it, because it was, I think, with 4:41 remaining in the first, when they skate them off the ice. The rounds of applause that you wouldn't have been able to hear because you were on your Saturday night stream, it was
And you don't
very
have season
loud.
seats.
I don't have season seats,
Yeah.
but also I don't get game audio. It's been 2 years I haven't heard a Saturday game, except for one time I broke my nose and I was able to hear it. That was it.
That is really weird. Oh yeah, because you were hanging with me on
yeah,
FaceTime.
I was hanging out with baked you and your baked wife. It was
making us
awesome.
laugh. It was great. So then last night, Florida's got a lot on the line here, right? The game last night matters to the Panthers because it doesn't matter the Leafs so much because Tampa loses the night before, Toronto clinches home ice, and obviously the Panthers are still fighting for that wild card.
Toronto is battling for 4-5. which is a very important matchup if they go a little deeper in the playoffs because that's them and the Rangers.
Yeah, I think they passed.
Yeah, they're currently in 4.
So to connect the two topics, that great Wayne Simmons moment came at a cost. So the Leafs had the option of calling up Wayne Simmons or Joseph Woll. They chose to call up Wayne Simmons. They gave him his moment at home. Then in the road game against the Panthers last night, the Leafs made the assumption we'll be able to call up Woll on emergency recall.
Right.
The NHL emergency recall is up to the NHL's discretion. And they decided, well, no, you didn't need to call up Wayne for this game. You could have just called up the goalie that you need. So, no, we're not granting this to you.
Were you getting to that, Adam? Is that where we're going?
Yeah, let's take it. Let's take it there.
Oh, sorry. I wanted to
No, that's fine.
mix
That's,
them.
that's
jumped
exactly
a
where I
little.
was going.
Okay.
Oh,
So
well,
it's
there,
perfect.
there you go.
But what I was trying to do was set up the fact that the Panthers are undoubtedly in this game. And the reason I wanted to say that, and I thought it was important when it comes to them having to sign another backup goaltender on an emergency basis, is because the Leafs then had to start Sergei Samsonov again. And that's where...
Sergei Samsonov.
Ilya Samsonov, not Sergei Samsonov.
It's a tough habit.
I know,
Samsonov.
it's brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal. So when Samsonov has to play again, people are going like, what if he gets injured? What if he gets... Is it Samsonov? Is that what we're saying?
It's Samsonov. I was saying Samsonov because I was being stubborn back to my KHL days. And then Ilya himself came out and said, just say Samsonov.
Okay, it's Samsonov.
Yeah.
Sammy.
So that's why I switched.
So, and of course, we all hold our collective breaths yesterday when he gets run into again. And you just kind of go
scary.
like, it is a sort of a pain in the ass that A, Matt Murray is out, and B, that they can't recall their goaltender. Although, as Andrew Berkshire rightly pointed out, the Leafs didn't have to sign Matthew Nyes.
Nope.
Right. So
And they used all their cap space doing it.
my complaint, first of all, can you take a peek if Joseph Woll has been called up?
No,
Okay.
he hasn't.
He
He
not.
hasn't
You
been
know
called
he's
up.
not.
Oh,
Not
okay.
yet, no.
Interesting.
I'm watching for that.
The other thing, so let's get this clear. The Leafs were 100% in the wrong. And the NHL was right to deny them Joseph Woll.
By the rule.
By the rule and by precedent,
Right.
which is something I'm big on. The NHL never follows their own precedent. They did here. They set the precedent with the Rangers. They said, fuck you, too bad, you have to play short. So they did.
That was when they were trying to trade for Patrick Kane.
Yeah.
And they made their own.
For 2 games.
Yeah.
They had to play with, I can't remember. It was-
because they put themselves in cap hell where they couldn't field a team, and they said that's your own doing. You don't get emergency recall.
So what I said is, why is this the line? Like, okay, fair enough that you're not allowed to do this. Why are you allowed to do this and that and that?
Yeah, but you're changing the argument.
I
know?
suppose.
That's like a kid who doesn't do their homework, and they're like, "Yeah, but that one time I did that," and you're like, "That's not what we're talking about right now."
Okay.
know?
As that kid brought me back to that moment. Right. But I like the example that I brought up was Brent Seabrook with the Tampa Bay Lightning. And so Puckpedia took the time to actually explain what was going on, and I really appreciated that. But it's not the Lightning acquire Brent Seabrook and then they're able to just avoid cap rules. What the trade was, like, I was right for the wrong reasons sort of thing. So what the trade was Brent Seabrook comes to the Lightning. Tyler Johnson comes off their books and goes to the Blackhawks. One guy can play, the other guy can't. Tyler Johnson can play. Brent Seabrook can't. So the Lightning are able to dump Tyler Johnson to a team that wants him and that cap hit. Whereas Brent Seabrook comes, he's on LTIR, so his cap hit is net 0.
Yes. But the Lightning...
They still come out of this
no.
benefiting from acquiring a player who's never going to play again.
Yes, they did benefit from it, but the Lightning...
Why is that allowed?
Because the Lightning acquired Brent Seabrook and had the salary cap to do that. They wouldn't.
Yes.
So
I understand
a lot
why.
of people were talking about Boston too on Sunday. They had 5 emergency recalls.
Jake, Akin, Brandon Bussey, Connor Carrick, Vinny Lettieri, and Oscar Steen.
So Boston had the salary cap for all of those guys. The thing about is post trade deadline, you can have a roster of 800 people as long as you have the salary cap to do it, and they did. So
Were they emergency or were
800
they
people on
regular
50
calls?
contracts, by the way. Just want to throw out that.
Yes, you have a 50 contract limit in your organization. So yeah, but they recalled all these guys, and they have that. They have the cap space.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's emergency or not. They have the cap space to do it. Who cares? That's fair. They can field these guys. So the Leafs didn't have the cap space, because of their own doing. So there's no. It
is their fault.
Yes, 100%. I think we're all in agreement. Are there other rules in the NHL that don't make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
We can all agree on that too. But there's no reason to cry for the Leafs when they took the chance themselves. Dubas and Pridham and the rest of the big boys upstairs said, we're gonna try it. We're gonna see if we're gonna sneak this one by Gary.
And it didn't work.
And they didn't work. So I can't feel bad for the Leafs and complain.
Oh, I don't feel bad for them.
Yeah.
There was a video. So Rachel Dory, who's worked for the Devils and Canucks, has a TikTok account called Puckbucks. It is spelled how you think it is spelled, and she did a video explaining the whole thing. And the way she described it is the Leafs should be able to call up Wool today on an emergency basis.
If they count yesterday as the emergency.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
you could also make the argument that the NHL looks at it as this is a continuation of the cap situation that you put yourselves into, the emergency that you created of your own doing, and that'll last until you fix your shit.
I hope not. Well, and then so let's say I don't know if this would work, but let's say they send down some other forwards or whatever on their team in order to recall Joseph Woll. Then you can't rest your forwards who you were hoping to rest. And now you're picking and choosing. Do we rest Sammy? Do we rest
Elliot
Matthews?
Friedman is saying today that he doesn't think Samsonov will be playing tonight as well.
Okay,
he just said this two minutes ago. And then Nick Chenard, who dressed yesterday, can't dress today, and was not on the ice in practice. We still don't know who the practice goalie was, but
wow,
he was not on the ice in practice in Tampa.
What an adventure!
Yeah, this is fun.
They still haven't announced that Wool's up.
No, nothing yet.
They
and
haven't.
I wonder if that'll happen at 2, usually, because it's 12:43 as of this recording. So I'm wondering if that's a 2 p.m. thing. Usually that
waivers are 2. So
yeah, I don't know.
What the?
Yeah, I'm watching Leafs PR. It's not happening. So
yeah.
I mean, another option is they could make a trade.
Yeah.
So the thing about the trade that I have to correct you on that you said in your LFR, they can't play.
Nope. I said it into a microphone.
They
correct.
can't. So you said that you can acquire Jonathan Quick. Jonathan wouldn't be able to play for the Leafs.
no, he can play. He just can't play in the playoffs.
No, so we have that incorrectly. You can't if you make a trade post trade deadline, you can't play for the team in the regular season or playoffs.
When did that change?
That's always been the rule. We've just said it incorrectly.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can't play for the team if you acquire them post trade.
Really?
Yeah.
Where did I get that?
I don't know.
Someone who was wrong, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Nah.
Wow.
I said it on camera, Justin.
So a couple of things did happen last night. The Leafs obviously won, but more importantly, we got to see Matthew Nyes. After all this buildup, almost gets traded to Chicago last year at the trade deadline, sticks around, wants to go to the Frozen Four, tough loss, but gets to play for the Leafs and
shouldn't have made his debut.
Yeah, starts on a line with Achari and Kerfoot.
Yeah,
and they get things going in the first period, and he seemed to be okay.
They only had 1 or 2 bad shifts. Yeah, he was a good battler. He was a good. He was digging in the corners. He had some really good defensive stick lifts. He got fucking train wrecked a couple times.
Which happens.
Gavani Smith was one of them. Ekblad? Did Ekblad hit him? But I mean, it was a nice. I mean, geez, this is a welcome to the NHL road trip. You get both Florida teams and the Rangers. Like, this guy's gonna play at MSG.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. No disrespect to Emily or anything, but
it's pretty serious.
I mean, it's Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Why are you disrespecting?
You
Florida?
don't like
because fuck them. No, because Madison Square Garden is one of the most iconic sport buildings on the continent.
No, it's the same thing.
Something else happened.
Right.
Austin Matthews got his 5th 40-goal season. That is the most in Leafs franchise history. Basically, he's now reached 40 goals 4 straight seasons. He is 25. Where does Austin Matthews stand in all-time goals for the Toronto Maple Leafs
5th.
currently?
Yeah, he's 299.
And he's tied.
I think he's 5th, yeah.
He's tied with Rick 5. So tonight, he scores another goal. He will. This is crazy. At 480 games, he has 542 points. So he will get his 300th goal if he scores in any of the last 2 games, obviously, and he will move into 4th place.
Barring a catastrophic injury, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's depressing, but it's pretty depressing that
It's 100% depressing.
A franchise that's more than 100 years old. This guy, Austin Matthews, has been here for 8 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's going to be 4th by 2 days from now.
And you know what, Jesse?
All-time goals?
Andrew Berkshire said it best once. Remember in 2017 when they came out the top 100 players of all time? Andrew's like, there is a disturbing lack of star power on this list. Once you get past the top 10, it's just a bunch of
top 100 players for the Leafs.
For the Leafs.
Yeah.
Top 100 players of all time for the Leafs. It's terrible.
No disrespect, but JVR made that list.
JVR
should not make
Phaneuf
that
made
list.
that list. Bozak made that list.
Yeah.
Did Bozak make the list?
Actually, no, wait, maybe he didn't. It was Phaneuf.
I don't
It was
think Bozak made the list.
Maybe Bozak didn't, but it was
Holy.
Kessel made it. He should have. But yeah, it was not a great list.
No.
And so I'm looking at this. So here's the thing. There are 10 Toronto Maple Leafs, and this is a quick early trivia for you guys. Okay. 10 Toronto Maple Leafs have scored 40 goals or more in a season. Name them.
Matthews, Tavares,
Yeah.
JVR.
JVR is not on the list.
Oh, he never hit 40.
Same with Kessel. Never hit 40.
No, he's the best 40 goal scorer to never score 40 goals.
Yeah.
Kadri at 40?
No, he didn't.
Not here.
Para 32 goal seasons. Vive.
Mm-hmm.
Glenn Anderson,
Nope.
Anderchuk,
Sundin.
Yeah. Dave Andreychuk did score 40 goals. Sundin did score 40 goals.
Sundin. So we're up to 5. Oh, Sittler.
Sittler.
We're up to 6.
Actually, hold up. Yep, Sittler. He did it 4 times.
Lanny McDonald.
Lanny McDonald did it 3 times.
Mahavlich.
Mahavlich did it as well.
Nice.
What's left? 1.
You got. Actually, I get you wrong. There are 12 players that did it.
Oh,
Sorry, that's my bad.
that's a lot more.
But the guys that did it are, if you get any of the last 4, you got the main guys.
Yeah.
If you get any of the last 4 guys, coffee's on me. It's
Were
amazing.
they born in the 18th century?
No.
Okay.
No, they were all 70s, 80s. That helps.
I was about to say
Because
Charlie
you said
Conacher.
Lehman, so
Yeah.
70s, 80s. Did Rob Ramage?
nope. Rob Ramage, defenseman, I think, wasn't he?
It was Hap Day.
Not No, that's the 30s.
70s, 80s. I said
It's it's think about the 80s, right? Think about how goofy the 80s were.
Yeah. Tim Horton.
No, defenseman.
Wendell Clark never did.
Nope.
No.
Got close. 37.
Domfus?
Nope. Good guess though. Think who else played with Domfus? It was that era.
Oh, well, I said Glenn Anderson.
He was Oilers
Wendell
at that
Clark
point.
never did. Gilmore never did.
Do you want to hear him?
Yeah.
You're gonna be mad about the first one. The first one you should get. You should get
Fuck.
Felix Potvin.
Eddie Olczyk.
He scored 40 goals with the Leafs.
42 and 87, 88. The guy who famously wore number 99 for the Toronto Maple Leafs, Wilf Paymont,
Wilf Paymont had 40 goals for the Leafs?
80, 81.
Never would have got that.
Bill Durlago, who would have been Olczyk's line mate, 40 goals, 83, 84. And Errol Thompson, probably the least known 40-goal scorer in NHL history.
Errol Thompson.
75, 76.
I've never heard that name. So Potvin's not on the list.
Potvin's not on the list. It's crazy.
Kiss my ass. He never allowed
I don't
40
know.
goals.
Maybe it was a little overrated, Steve.
Maybe you should kiss my ass.
I did love seeing Tavares play 2 minutes and 27 seconds of overtime and then scoring.
I leapt
best.
from my couch.
That was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Great
one of the
goal.
best goals all year.
Yeah.
The Leafs were not winning that line change contest, which is exactly what that 3-on-3 was. Tavares was not even the only guy, I think, to be stuck out there for at least 90 seconds. And TJ Brody played at least 3/4 of that overtime. And I have no idea how he had the juice. And I tell you what, for a guy who has banged the drum so hard for his team en route to trying to make the Stanley Cup playoffs, what the fuck was that effort from Matthew Tkachuk?
Ooh.
Horrible. Full credit to Tavares.
To quote Shaq, Horror awful.
Horror awful. I think that was Charles Barkley.
Oh, it's Charles Barkley. Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, and then Shaq said, what did you say, Chuck? What did you say, Chuck? And he goes, horror awful. He slaps something and then points.
And then Barkley goes, women in San Antonio.
Oh my God.
What'd you say? What'd you say, Chuck? Yeah, I got to apologize. I had churros last night. Oh my God. How the fuck hasn't he been kicked off TV?
It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy.
That
Anyway,
show's amazing.
yeah, it's something.
This show called a show. It's the intermission panel.
Every now and then, Kenny and Shaq just have a race mid-segment.
Yeah, back to the
Yeah,
video
so
play.
anyway, no, like Tavares, full credit, great effort, great move. How doesn't Tkachuk catch him?
Right. And
dogged it.
he well, of course, because he can. No offense to Johnny, but his speed comes from his short quickness and not like straightaway speed.
Unless there's something I missed, there's no way Tkachuk was more tired than Tavares. Tavares was out there for 2.5 minutes.
But when
You
you're
just got beat.
when you're drinking kale every morning, that's what you're drinking it for. Game 80 against the Panthers.
Kombucha, actually.
Kombucha. The guy is like that's where being in shape really matters. It's something like that.
Do you want to tell the
saying that Tkachuk's
kombucha story from JT?
Yeah, I need Maddie's reaction. This guy, earnestly,
Maggie.
honest to God, Maggie.
Maggie.
Maggie Simpson. John Tavares has a kombucha keg in his house. I'm jealous. So if you've ever, I'm jealous too.
It's not that good.
No,
Kombucha's
but
not that good.
it's the status. If you've ever wondered what someone who makes $11 million a year makes, and Adam's not around to ask him, John Tavares has a kombucha keg. Yeah.
Maggie said it must get expensive.
Yeah, how much does a kombucha keg cost? Let's look that up.
Yeah, can you look that up, Margaret?
Keg.
Oh yeah,
Bottle of kombucha is $6.
yeah.
It's
Kombucha's
100
expensive.
For a kombucha keg, it's $120. Comes in cinnamon apple pie, sour apple, berry cranberry, blue pomegranate, lemon ginger, beet lemonade, violet lemongrass, not violent lemongrass, carrot pina colada, and cucumber pear. What
It's
was
on
the flavor?
richboysstuff.com.
From Loon Kombucha. I'm sure somebody would get on me about how I pronounce kombucha. But
Kombucha.
That was all because of the I did a thing with the Leafs on Media Day where I said, what would you get so and so for Christmas?
Mm-hmm.
And everyone who got Tavares, or when Tavares came up, they're like, I'd get him kombucha. And someone, it was Giordano, said he had a kombucha keg. And
That is amazing.
And then you asked JT about it.
Well, yeah, I was like, no, they're for sure messing with me. And then no, JT's like, yeah. It was as if to be like, is that not normal?
What a guy.
Doesn't everyone have this?
One last thing.
My friend Adam told me all about it.
Cam Sharon said the Leafs could have something if the NHL wasn't married to its current playoff format. The Leafs could be going for second place in the Eastern Conference tonight. So they're currently by the old ways of the Force. They would be fourth, and they could jump right up to even with Carolina tonight.
Mm-hmm. We could we could have saw like Leafs,
Islanders,
Panthers, Leafs, Islanders.
Yeah.
We could have seen Rangers.
Don't tell me that it
Leafs.
doesn't make a difference. It fucking makes a difference.
Yes.
Stop with that nonsense. You guys know that's not. You know you're being disingenuous. And by the way, how do Gary's boots taste? That's what I'd really like to know. Like, I'm shocked sometimes by the amount of people who are like, love the playoff format. And I also think the cap system is good for small market
You
teams.
should wait for
Eat,
Drew to at least
eat
be
it.
in the room.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So I want to talk about that with You Can Bet That here. Okay. So Cale Makar, no timetable set for his return.
Yeah.
That's
Which sucks. So my question is now the time to go after like a $2 Steve on the Oilers going right to the finals?
Oh, I think before that, yeah.
But with Cale Makar and the experience the Avs have, you at least would have thought about it. But now I'm not even sure that you do.
It makes the Avalanche's remaining games that much more important because you want to be playing one of those weaker Western wildcard teams.
Yes. Yeah.
But you're not going to get that if you're in second.
Everybody's on the Oilers and everything, and like they're my pick, probably gonna be my pick to come out of the West.
The hottest team in the NHL.
But I know you don't like them, Adam. But Laurent Brossoit and the
Swat.
Vegas Golden Knights are pretty damn good.
They are good.
And there's
no
a
question.
good shot that they come out of the West.
So it's very interesting because I was talking to Justin Fisher about this. In terms of competitiveness, love the Oilers playing the Kings. I think it's the closest thing to the Leafs and Lightning in the first round, where you're like, oh, geez, like one of these guys have to drop in the first round. Fuck. But I think a second straight year of ideally a 7-game series between those two would be incredible. But the only way we're going to get it is if the Oilers or Kings pass the Golden Knights.
If the Kings beat the Oilers in the first round, the Kings win the Stanley Cup.
I honestly,
think
Jesse,
they carry that. And
I
they
am
go all the way.
1,000% on board with that.
Yeah.
100. They are.
Then like everything's out the window. Kings are winning it.
The LA
Everybody shut
Kings
up, go
this
home.
year are the most complete team, especially when they got their goaltending sorted out.
Yeah.
They're the most complete team in the Western Conference. They are good.
I think that's
everything.
probably their toughest matchup. Like I was just on the Golden Knights, but like if they are like what we think they can be, then I'd change my mind and be like, okay, now it's the Kings. Like
If you hottest teams in the league.
And for anybody
Yeah.
that hasn't been paying attention, it's because Quick and Cal Peterson had like a save percentage combined of like 850 in the first 2
Dude,
months. They were literally unplayable. They were worse than Martin Jones at his worst.
It's kind of bizarre how good Korpisalo has been, because you look at two goalies who are equally as terrible on the same team and you go, all right, this is a little bit the team's fault, isn't it? And then Korpisalo's come in and been one of the best goaltenders in the league since the trade deadline. They added Gavrikov too, but like
He scored last night.
I mean, geez, he should be up for the Vezina too. Fuck
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
He should be up for the Norris and everything.
People are in my shit about Gavrikov. I still don't think he's that great. People are like, he was on a bad team. I'm like, yes, and look at that. His numbers improved on a good team. This is so crazy. I don't think he was worth the price. I don't. But he scored, so dunk away.
Well, the price wasn't as astronomical.
So the other thing I want to mention, and I want to bring this up because I'm bragging, since it is about the Oilers and it is you can bet that, my $2 bet on Connor McDavid scoring between 65 and 70 goals is 1 goal away. Oh. He has 150 points. He got that this year or this weekend. Sorry, he has 64 goals. I need 1 goal in 2 games. Can I get it?
Who are the Oilers' last 2 games against?
Let's find out.
There's a really good chance he doesn't even play the last game.
So tonight, Colorado, and then San Jose in Game 82
Oh man!
on my birthday. Will Connor McDavid score on my birthday on Thursday?
How much do you win?
I win $7.80.
That's not bad.
That is not bad at all. See, they actually have spots to play for too. I think their game against Colorado is going to be hugely competitive, and he'll be in it. There's a real good chance he does not play that San Jose game. Dude, it's the Sharks.
I know. They were bad last night. By the way,
They're bad every night.
I can't believe the. By the way, I cannot believe it came down, and we'll get to the Flames for them needing San Jose to do something for them to save themselves.
I can't believe it took this long to mention them.
Hilarious. I was going to lead with them today, but I thought, we'll save it.
There's a lot of Leaf stuff.
There was a lot of Leaf stuff.
Yeah.
But the Flames are unquestionably today the most talked about, and we're going to have Julian McKenzie on tomorrow to break it all down for us off the top of the
Happy
show.
birthday,
Yeah,
Julian.
today's his birthday, so we're going to let him off.
I did book him for today, and then Jesse's like, it's his birthday, right? I was like, shit. So I texted him back. I'm like, please, happy birthday. Please continue to do your birthday stuff.
Oh, Adam texted me. Can you do extra work?
That's so Adam.
I know.
Also,
I know. He's
Hey,
like,
Julian,
Also, get COVID.
yeah, hope you have COVID. Can you please come on? From his yacht.
No. So with the Oilers, I feel like, are they going to get this? That's what I want to know. Is Connor McDavid going to score in the last 2 games?
Yeah.
So wait, if he scores, so you need him to go no goals. Or
Yeah,
just
he has 1 goal.
Because it's a window. 65 to 70 goals is what I
Oh,
picked.
you have 65 to 70. Oh.
Man.
He'll get it. He'll get it.
I mean,
He's got him.
I think he's going to score. I think he's going to score against Colorado.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I feel like this Colorado game, it matters, but it doesn't. You know what I mean? It's sort of like it. Like, does it set the tone for anything with the playoffs? Probably not. But
It's a pretty good tune-up.
yeah.
And there's no Cale Makar out there.
Kind of get to know what you may face, right?
Yeah. Listen, there's a commercial, and I forget what the commercial is for, but I learned from that commercial that Cale Makar is the only person in the league who can shadow Connor McDavid.
It matters a whole lot for the standings. Like, just looking at them, Vegas is at 107. Edmonton's at 105. Colorado's at 104. Dallas is at 104. They're all right there, and they can all hop each other.
So you think Connor McDavid brings it? Then?
Yeah. They can.
Yeah.
If you can win
Come on, baby.
they can become first in the Western Conference just by winning the next 2 games. And Vegas loses a couple. So there's something serious on the line here. Home ice throughout the playoffs, like that's serious.
It's a solid.
They got to be going for it.
I cashed my Sidney Crosby reaches 1,500 points bet. So I won, I think it was 364 there. And William Nylander to have the most goals on the team, I bet no.
I
also bet
you're
you're
gonna
gonna
lose.
I also
You're gonna
bet him-
lose. There's still time.
There was also a William Nylander. Jesse's will he get over 50 goals? I bet no on that, and I think I win.
Oh, and I took the under on Matt
Yeah,
Murray's save percentage.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
What did I get? Hold on. William Nylander, 50 plus goals. It pays out $2.18.
Let's
I'm gonna win 18
go!
cents on my bet,
How
which
dare
I
you.
love. But I also
40-40?
I did pick yes on the 40-40.
All right.
Which we still have. Have they done that yet?
No,
I don't remember.
They both got to get there.
Matthews got it. Last
Oh
week.
yeah,
got it.
Matthews got it.
Willie's 2 away.
Willie's 2. Yeah.
He could honestly, man. He should have had it against Montreal.
Yeah.
He was
He's
so
played
good.
well against Tampa.
We'll see what happens tonight. By the way, CJ is now tweeting that Toronto could be starting a ATO goaltender tonight
Good.
because Samsonov has not done this all season. They're not gonna
Play him on a back-to-back.
Play him on a back-to-back.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I don't give a shit.
It's also good for the Leafs defense. I have noticed, and I know I want to get to the Western Conference in a second here. I've noticed a few bad giveaways and stuff. So if maybe having an ATO goaltender in there, like a couple McCabe giveaways have given me a little bit of pause.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if like just use it to clean it up a little bit,
Unpopular, let the Leafs off the hook opinion. They've been totally coasting. They've just been playing generally engaged, and they're saving it.
Oh, fair enough.
They're saving it. I think the Lightning save it too.
If the Winnipeg Jets, we'll switch it up because we got to get over to the other Western Conference. The Winnipeg Jets win tonight, they're in.
Yep.
And
Why?
Calgary has already eliminated themselves.
That's such a good way of putting it. So are we talking about the Jets or are we talking about the Flames?
Well, I will talk about the Jets after because the
Okay.
story is the Flames. The Jets were the team that was on the fringe, right? I don't even know where we all picked them in our divisional. We did our previews, and
Right,
we did-
right.
But
I had them out,
I think that I probably did too, and it's like the only thing you can't bet against is Connor Hellebuck, and I believe I would have said that at the beginning of the year.
and he's been incredible.
He's been amazing. Calgary lost 30 one-goal games this year. That's right, 3-0 one-goal games this year. Now, last night, they were up in the shootout. Had they taken care of business, they'd have been fine today. Daryl Sutter for the third shooter. Calgary is already up 1 goal. We're in the third round of the first. Calgary's the first shot. He's got Tyler Toffoli sitting on the bench. It's the team's leading scorer.
Dude, like even Mangiapane and like
Who's he pick?
Nick Ritchie.
And apparently their team or their career shooting percentage in the shootout against whoever they were facing was
UC
the same.
Saros,
Was the
who-
same.
Listen, Linus Ullmark has done some historic things this season. and
UC has dragged that team. Into the playoffs.
I think there can be 2 different awards here. There can be best goalie and biggest world beater. Like Ullmark, best goalie, I get it. No one has stolen more games than UC Saros.
Yep.
Maybe Hellebuck.
Yep.
Maybe Hellebuck.
And so
Probably Saros.
So they put Nick Ritchie up against UC Saros for the playoffs. And
He did score against Saros earlier this season with Arizona.
That's cool, but who's your goal scorer?
Fucking anyone other than
Tyler
Nick
Toffoli
Ritchie.
is your goal scorer.
Yeah.
Tyler Toffoli.
Yeah.
Tyler Toffoli didn't even get to do it. Now, I also want to throw out there that there was a tweet that you mentioned, and we don't have to bring it up on the show, but Markstrom way out of the net again
He's
in that game.
I
Like, just
gotta
stay between the pipes.
I don't know who their goalie coach is. I don't know who their coaching staff is, and this again goes back to I don't know who the leader of the Calgary Flames is. I don't like a lot of the old school shit, like the macho bravado shit, like we've talked about, and we referenced that story where Ty Domi was young in his career and he was acting up, and Mark Messier grabbed him by the collar and pinned him to the wall. How hasn't someone grabbed Jake Markstrom and shaken him and said, stop fucking playing the puck? How has no one grabbed him and said, you are, without argument, the single worst puck handling goalie in the National Hockey League? Fucking stop. And he always does it in the first period as well. So he fucks his team and puts them down early. He did it in the playoffs. He did it earlier this regular season. He's done it now. Fucking stop. You stink at it. You're a fine goalie. Stay in the fucking net. If you're a goaltender, tend the goal. That's me being cheeky about it. This is me saying you're actively fucking your team, Jacob.
Who can't score?
No.
They can't score. We know they can't score.
Stop. Are you out of your mind? Every time he leaves the net, he's out of his mind. He said, well, maybe his defense could have been in better position. Yeah, well, you know what negates all of that? Staying in your fucking net. Stop it. Like, how has no one gotten through to him? You're not good at this. You put us at a disadvantage. Like, he shouldn't. It's too late now. It's too late now. I was going to say he shouldn't play a game for them for the rest of the season. It's too late now. The damage is done.
Well, what are you going to just start Dan Vladar for the playoff push?
What? The other guy won't fucking listen. Other guy won't listen. He's selfish.
Vladar.
It's
Vladar
a selfish thing to do.
Vladar was on fire for a little bit there, when they were winning.
Yeah, like, listen, I don't want to attack his character. I don't know the guy, but how has no one said you keep fucking doing this? This is at least like the dozenth goal they've surrendered because he does not know how to play the puck over the last season and a half, 2 seasons. Stop. No one is a worse offender in the NHL than this guy. And to me, that is so much more noteworthy than playing Nick Ritchie in the shootout. Now, playing Nick Ritchie in the shootout is objectively stupid. But at very least, there was an argument for it. Sure. Like, there's some logic. Like, okay, he might not beat most goalies. We know he can beat this goalie because we've seen him do it. Mm-hmm. I disagree, but there is evidence that he can do it. How in game 80?
Game 80.
Is Markstrom still doing that shit? Ride pine. Brutal. Unacceptably brutal.
I didn't think you'd be that passionate about
No,
it.
because-
Whatever. Did you, Jesse? I didn't know.
Well, okay,
I appreciate it.
Because it's like the season didn't come down to Nick Ritchie being in the shootout. Like that's the narrative.
It was. I think the reason I brought up the Nick Ritchie thing, and I'm sorry to cut you off. The reason I brought it up, it's not Nick Ritchie. It's the coaching staff's ethos that they're gonna fucking grit a goal out in shootout. Like, what did you want him to go into the corners too, Daryl? Like, what do you want here?
Sure.
I mean,
It's a pure finesse move. Who's the finesse player on your team? I know you hate guys who are fancy and handsome and didn't grow up on a farm. I get it. But fucking play your scorers, man.
Yeah.
So there's my passionate rant, but continue.
No. With Steve's thing about Markstrom, it's like, okay, the season didn't come down to Nick Ritchie in the shootout. That was the conclusion of it. That's when you got eliminated.
Yep.
But the season for the Calgary Flames was a whole bunch of errors like that. That's why you're so right about your rant, is because there was a million different things that went wrong with the Calgary Flames, and they chose to kind of fix none of them throughout the season. They kind of just kept hammering away at what they were all year long, and because they had Markstrom.
Because the owner is going to fire the GM this offseason. Owner's firing the GM this offseason, and he loves the coach. The owner loves the coach.
Right.
That's what's happening. Sorry, Jesse.
Well,
that's why. Go ahead.
Well, sir, were you
No,
gonna
go
say
ahead.
something?
Go ahead.
Well, all stats seem to indicate they're just unlucky, and they'll be back next year, no problem. But I feel like there's teams where you believe that. I don't believe it with the Calgary Flames.
They lost in shootout last night, right? That's what eliminated them. But they also lost to the Blackhawks last week. They lost to the Canucks on Saturday in a shootout.
Can't happen.
Like this perpetually happened all year where they lost games they shouldn't have lost. And eventually, when you lose so many 1-goal games, it's not because you're unlucky. It's because you can't pull out 1-goal games, and you don't have have the level of compete or the level of skill or just the goal scoring
Goaltending.
or the goaltending, whatever is what your problem is, because there's a bunch of problems with Calgary Flames. It's all of those things that compound you to be unlucky and not win these games. Eventually, it's not just luck. It's you lack the skill and the talent to win the game.
How about this? Give the Flames 8 more points. Or no, not 8. Give them 4 more points. They're in the playoffs.
Yes.
So you could add 4 more, 5 more, 6 more overtime losses to their record. They'd be fine. And the way you get those points is by not losing 1-goal games because your goalie decided to take a stroll.
I would like to know how many he had this year.
It just off the top of my head, it like gun to my head, like
Gun to the earth, actually.
gun to the earth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Egudala.
Yeah. Aliens will eat you alive if you get this wrong. Minimum 3.
Well, then you're in the playoffs.
And I'm going to say as many as 6.
You're in the playoffs. Like,
Yeah.
you got to Billy Bean this a little bit. Like, what happens when we, when they...
How about you gotta
about,
goalie this?
They're talking about stolen bases, right? So stop stealing bases.
Stay in your
So
net.
because our percentages aren't good. Stay in your net. The percentages aren't good.
Like, so I made the if you're a goaltender, 10 the goal thing a bit. And because I've made it a bit, like, I actually have a decent idea of the goalies who kind of stink.
You got to
at
watch
this.
it every week to get the clips.
Yeah. You know who's surprisingly bad at it? Vasilevsky. He does it with, like, surprising regularity. You know who I'm glad has stopped playing the puck as much? Ilya Samsonov is not the greatest at playing the puck. Neither is Matt Murray. Oh, boy. But those two. No, Markstrom's 1. He's 1 of 1. I was going to throw Vasilevsky in there. There's a few other goalies who are really bad at it.
Matt Murray
Markstrom is
usually
1 of
stays.
1.
He stays between the posts when he's not knocking them off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, there
Exactly.
you go.
No, Markstrom is 1 of 1.
All right, but like all those one score games, like if they had any high end scoring, like Kadri and Huberdeau, they weren't.
They're setup guys.
They weren't what was advertised. You know, they didn't bring the point production. If they get any of those, maybe there's 4 more points in the standings, and like they're not relying on, I forget his first name, Dewar, whatever his first name is,
I don't know.
scoring the game winner in must win games.
I thought
Like,
that was the clothing brand you were promoting in
that
Jesse
was
Blake Sports Report.
yeah. Use the code Jesse Blake 15
but
for
to
15%
that point,
off.
Jesse, I think they did come as advertised, but neither of them are finishers. They're not finishers. Huberdeau set the record for what last year?
Assists.
He still put up at least 30 goals.
Yes, but when you're playing with Sasha Barkov, right? It's different, and I think that's where Calgary really, I think, lacked it this year because
They're 1, 2, 3 up the middle,
Kachuk was
so
a
good.
genuine finisher. Backlund's obviously still there, genuine, but it's just not. And also the style that they play, they have a head coach who, it was like when Tortorella took over in Vancouver. It's like, okay, now the Sedins are we're gonna block all the shots and win the Stanley Cup. No, you're not.
The difference
No, you're not.
is-
You don't have a coach that matches what your team is.
The difference is Tortorella had 0 success in Vancouver. Sutter won the division last year. So I don't know where this team came from. I know significant changes. Yeah. The changes they made to me are not the difference between winning your division and not making
No,
the
they're
playoffs.
not. They're not. It's depression, I think, that's set in on the players.
Like
get him out of there.
they've
He's gotta
all
go.
Very
Losing-
openly hated playing hockey for at least a month now.
Losing in 5 games to the Oilers, it was a peek into what they kind of were.
Does it break
Paper
your brain
tiger?
a little bit?
It breaks your brain.
Yeah. Does a loss like that kind of break you? Like, has it affected
I
them?
think we saw what the Calgary
They
Flames
were a Stanley
truly
Cup
were
favorite.
in that moment. Like they went up against a team who was actually a Stanley Cup favorite, and maybe all season long, like we overrated the Calgary Flames last year.
Oilers?
Yeah,
Oilers weren't a cup favorite.
but after that performance, getting to
after
the
that
Western Conference
performance,
Finals,
yeah.
we saw what the Oilers truly were, and the Calgary Flames, they didn't match up. Like they couldn't compete with that team.
The Flames began that series up, if I'm not mistaken, 6-2 in game 1 in the second period. By the end of the second period, if I'm not mistaken, it was 6-5. Oilers tied it at the beginning of the third, and I think the Flames ended up winning it 9-6.
And then they got reverse swept after that.
And then they got reverse swept.
yeah.
It's like game 1. It's like we're all still living in that second period. Like it's. I don't
Since
get
then, it's been your best players leave, everybody hates the head coach. You sign the new guys. You try and rebuild on the fly, retool with the new fancy guys, and none of it works.
Okay, losing Kachuk and Gaudreau, but replacing them with Kadri and
Uyghur and Huberdeau.
And then adding Uyghur on top of that. You shouldn't be missing the playoffs. You shouldn't be missing the playoffs, man. And all the games where they outshot their opponent. And
They loved outshooting and losing.
oh,
That's a Calgary Flames special.
I wonder how many of those games where they outshot their opponent and lost were because of score effects, because they were losing early, because Markstrom left the fucking net to play the puck. I'm gonna ride this till he stops doing it. Stop it. Stop it.
It's a good. Listen, it's a
Dude,
good
you're
point.
killing your team.
Here's the other thing I
You're
want to bring up.
killing your team.
And this is where again my issues all year. I tweeted in November that the Flames needed a coaching change and Flames fans got on me or whatever. But like they played like shit then. They played like shit since. And what's hilarious now is Flames reporters are talking about this is a great opportunity to start Matt Coronado and see what you have there, right? He's their new top prospect.
What?
Are you sure you don't mean Dustin Wolf?
Isn't it Matt Coronado? Am I wrong?
I think he's one of their prospects, but Dustin Wolf's their big goalie.
Well, I know, but this is a guy that this is a guy that they were going to try out in the last couple of games that they're super interested in.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I thought you were.
No,
I've been on the Dustin Wolf train. So so who is this?
So Matt Coronado, basically, I'm pulling up his elite prospects page for anybody that wants to know. He's 20 years old. He just signed with the Flames. He was the guy that when he signed his entry level deal, Flames fans were really excited, and Sutter's like, never heard of him.
What wing?
He is a right wing, left wing, so he can play either. He's got an offensive profile according to Elite Prospects. I'll just read what they said. He wants to have the puck on his stick and isn't afraid to court contact to make sure he's the one driving the bus for the line. He's decisive, manipulative, and dexterous with his handler. He's got a good shot for somebody who is constantly throwing pucks on the net, and his release is fast and versatile in how he gets pucks off. He was recently at Harvard. He had 36 points in 34 games, 20 goals. So
That is pretty good.
So Matt Coronado was a guy that they've signed earlier this year. Sutter was like, I've never heard of him. And then Flames reporters are openly saying today that even though these last couple of games are a perfect time to get a guy like that in the lineup because it doesn't matter, Sutter still may not do that because he doesn't like young players.
Peltier comment earlier this year and just...
What was it, Peltier? Was that the one am I mixing that up?
I'm not sure.
But either way.
I'm not sure.
Doesn't love young guys. Can you imagine this guy doesn't make it in the lineup? They've just signed him.
I mean, do they need finishers or not? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
guess I could see them holding back and then his contract slides to next year. Right? Isn't that true?
No,
The way that works?
Then he must have not played this year.
Yeah, so
He has not played. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so then
This
he
is the
wasn't,
chance to try
he
him
wasn't
out.
the guy Sutter was talking about then.
Yeah.
he
Coronado
wasn't?
must
Okay,
have
it's Peltier.
only just signed his deal because if he had signed it earlier, he wouldn't have been eligible for NCAA.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think it was Peltier.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
Peltier.
yeah.
Either way, so both
then it's
guys
more than one guy.
Well, then it's doubly bad.
Right.
Dustin Wolf is the one I get hung up on because he's the best. He might be the best goalie not playing in the NHL.
Yeah, now that Devin Levi is up.
Fuck.
Yeah, so
He
hey,
looks great. How is Buffalo not mathematically
some-
out yet?
Put some respect on the Sabres. They're still
They're
in
not
this.
mathematically out. It's
Still
good.
in this, and Levi's
It's good.
going to drag him in.
I don't know.
Goalies, man. I mean, Florida gives up Devin Levi as a throwaway in a deal, and they don't miss him because Alex Lyon decided to play the best hockey of his career at 31. Sure, definitely. Goalies, they're totally normal. Watch, Lyon's going to be like the next Tim Thomas, where he sticks around for long enough where, like, Tim Thomas had to be good for like a year and a half before we were all like, is he just good?
Yeah, is he
Yeah.
actually good?
Nobody believed
Yeah.
it. Nobody
Yeah.
believed it.
No, because he shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
The dude was drafted by the Nordiques.
Dwayne Rolison was like that too. I think he was one of the oldest like rookie of the year candidates ever. He was like 27 or something. It's like,
He got better as he aged.
yeah, it was crazy. Separately from that, the Flames were hanging their hopes on hopefully the San Jose Sharks doing anything, which they did not. But Karlsson did get his 100th point as a defenseman. He is the 6th ever to do it.
I got a problem with some of the Norris discourse.
About Eric?
I get that there are better defensemen in the National Hockey League. Adam Fox is fucking unreal. Cale Makar is the best defenseman in the National Hockey League.
Skill-wise.
But if a guy puts up 100 points and it's been done 6 times in the history of the entire league, bro, just give him the fucking Norris Trophy. Who cares if he's bad defensively?
People
Like,
vote on best defenseman.
But it's fine. He did something that's so extraordinary on one end that there can be a little, hey, he's not that great on the defensive end. His team is really ass. But the 100 points, that round number, is so special. He can't not win the Norris.
His first season without Brent Burns. Those two were not meant to be on the same team together.
Not enough puck.
No, I grossly underestimated that when that trade happened. I was like, oh, look, they had the best right side. No, man. Those are both, well, at least at the time of the trade, those are both number 1 options. They're not top pair options. Those are number 1 options. You can only have one.
I think the Leaf fans sort of saw that in a way, like a way reduced way, with Morgan Riley and Tyson Barrie. Because Morgan Riley was coming off a 72-point season.
Yeah.
And they're like, we need Tyson Barrie.
Well, they wanted to get
Barrie
TJ
was
Brody.
a little lost with Morgan.
And then they took Morgan off the top power play so they could get Tyson Barrie going.
You know
and
what,
then
though?
it was like,
Look how good of a fit Barry's been in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great fit.
And actually,
With Yossi.
well, Yossi's been out, so he's been a great fit as a dude filling in, basically. And speaking of filling in, I forgot to get to this because I was too busy ranting about Calgary. Have you looked at the roster Nashville is doing this with?
It's pretty thin.
Who are these people?
I know.
So they had 2 goals yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Both of them featured a player getting their first career point. Igor Afanaseyev got his first goal heading into that game in 16 NHL games, 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 points. And then Jake Markstrom goes, here you go, pal. Gives just puck right to him, buries it. There's your first career point. And on the second goal, I can't remember who scored it, but Jake Livingstone, cousin of Drew.
Is he actually?
No, I made that up.
Oh.
Zach Sanford scored.
Zach Sanford, thank you, with his second goal of the season. I looked this up. There were 4 goals in that game. One was some guy's first, another was some guy's second, and another was some guy's third. And then there was Backlund with his 19th. But Afanaseyev and Livingstone both got their first career point in that game. Like, they're just a bunch of children and journeymen.
Yeah.
And they sold hard with a capital S at the deadline. They're still in it.
So
Doesn't make sense.
Tyson Barrie leads them in time on ice, right? He's their big defenseman. Yossi's out. Who's second in time on ice for the Nashville Predators? Ryan McDonough's up there too. He's second. Who's third in time on ice for the Nashville Predators?
Is it a defenseman?
It is a defenseman.
I don't even know who plays defense for them all the time.
It is not a defenseman. It's a forward.
Ryan Johansson.
It's a forward.
Can't be Matt Duchene, can it? He doesn't kill penalties.
It's centerman.
Is it Tanner Glass?
You didn't even get his name right. His name's Cody Glass.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I got the wrong Glass.
He scored last night too.
I'm so brutal.
You got Mr.
Is it
Glass
Cody
wrong.
Glass?
Cody Glass.
So I was right and wrong.
Yeah.
Was he not?
He didn't score last night. No.
I thought he did. Was he a
Assist.
pick of the Vegas Golden
Yes.
Knights?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
5th
what I thought.
overall.
Cody Glass played 23 minutes and 25 seconds. Led all forwards for the Nashville Predators in ice time.
Probably in the NHL. That all falls in the NHL.
Tanner Glass.
Wild.
Tanner Glass.
Just as good, I hear.
I'm upset.
Yeah, I don't know how they're doing this.
I don't either.
It's UC Soros, obviously. Like he's a big reason they're doing this. But
But like, you gotta score a couple.
you got to score, and that's why they got Trennan and Tyson Barrie and
man,
Cody
big
Glass,
team.
and
They lost
Tomasino.
Janot,
Tomasino's on
Granlund.
that.
So if Winnipeg wins
Yossi
tonight,
injury.
it's over. But if they don't, and Nashville wins its final 2 games and Winnipeg loses its final 2 games, because that's essentially what it comes down to, Nashville's in. Now, I'm looking at the Western Conference, and it would be kind of cool, don't you think, if the Edmonton Oilers could win their last couple of games, finish tops in the conference, and take on the Nashville Predators in the first round.
Oh, don't think it hasn't occurred to me.
Because it's probably not going to happen because Vegas is that far ahead. And Vegas fans probably feel super disrespected because we've been talking about Edmonton so much, but Edmonton sort of, they're goofy. It's crazy. I would love to see an Edmonton-Nashville first round. Would love to see it.
So on the topic of the Jets, and I'm gonna link this to the Penguins. Life's not fair, and I'm gonna prove it. The Penguins are fighting for their playoff lives for a wild card spot.
Yep.
The Jets are fighting for their playoff lives for a wild card spot. They both have 2 games left. If I'm not mistaken, the Penguins' last 2 games are against the Chicago Blackhawks and the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'm pretty sure they're like 1-2 in the league for worst teams. They're both bottom 5. The Winnipeg Jets have to play the Wild in Minnesota.
Oh, not easy.
And the Avalanche in Colorado.
So that's possible.
Dude, that sucks. That sucks so much.
And the Penguins, too, like, they control their own destiny in this whole thing.
Yeah.
So the Penguins just go 2-0. They're in the playoffs. And you don't think Sidney Crosby can just go 2-0 and make the playoffs?
Oh, man. And, did the Isles bottle it?
Yep.
They got crushed by the Caps. I can't believe that.
So the problem with the Islanders is they can't come back because they
Yeah,
can't
they
score.
can't score.
So you get down 3-0, game's over. Everybody go home, leave the arena.
It's like the Flames of the East.
Yeah, the Islanders, they don't have enough scoring, and like that's been their detriment. And going down 3-0 to the Caps.
Do they have Barzal back yet?
No.
I don't think he didn't play last night. No.
I think they make the playoffs in a walk if they have Barzal, but they don't.
So
They don't.
I want to
what
ask
it
you
is.
guys something. What is league average save percentage this year? What do you guess?
Like 906.
Okay, Jess.
Mississauga, 905.
905. I like that.
Yeah.
The league average save percentage.
Maggie liked that. Margaret liked that.
Margaret, lovely Margaret in the corner.
Thanks, Megan.
The save percentage for the league this year is 899.
No way.
League average?
Yes.
Wow.
There are only
Your Matt. You should have put $1,000 on your Matt Murray.
Oh, I know.
yeah.
I mean, I like to be $2 Steve responsible. Sports Interaction did not. They didn't do a good job with that one.
It was 920, right?
Yeah. Well, Matt Murray, he had, I think, like a 923 or
Yeah.
something at the time. Dude. It should have been, will Matt Murray win the Vezina Trophy? Which, fucking no.
There are 14 teams in the NHL with a 9 up in front of their save percentage. Only 14. So 2 teams at least going into the playoffs this year will have a less than 900 save percentage. The Oilers are among them. They have an 899. They have a league average save percentage,
And
which is weird to say.
Stuart Skinner was an all-star.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Jack Campbell has struggled
Yeah. So
a little.
the top team in the league, save percentage wise, is obviously the Boston Bruins.
Yes.
What is their team save percentage?
Oh, it's stupid.
928.
That would be stupid.
So I don't think it's that high. 925.
It's 930.
Oh my
Shit!
The next closest team. I will give you the next closest team.
It's like if the Hasek Sabres could score. Holy
it's crazy.
shit.
No, let us guess.
Okay, what do you think number 2 is? Don't give me the percentage yet. Give me the team first. Second highest save percentage in the league. Both conferences. Team save percentage.
Both conference. Oh, so but an Eastern team and a Western team who aren't the Bruins.
It can be either. Be anybody in the league but the Bruins. There are 31 teams to choose from.
Who's your pick?
After a bad start, Georgiev's been really good for Colorado.
It's not right.
Colorado?
So you're saying Colorado, Jesse.
The New Jersey Devils.
Not the New Jersey Devils. Colorado is 5th. New Jersey is 11th.
Oh.
The Minnesota Wild are number 2.
Oh,
And they've been very good. Now,
Philip Gustafson
Now,
Hey.
and Marc-Andre noted
the
Alan.
other guy.
Yeah. Hey.
What is
hey.
he? He's a what?
Noted Alan Walsh client.
Thank
He
you.
has actually been sick
So,
lately.
Alan,
What
we should
is-
talk about Alan later.
yes, we should actually get a great episode coming out.
Nah.
Um,
Nah.
Number 2, Minnesota Wild. What's their team save percentage? Knowing that Boston was .930, the league average is .899. Where's Minnesota?
16.
9-14.
God, I wish one of you had picked the number in the middle.
Ah!
9:15.
I
Well
didn't
done,
want
guys.
I didn't
Well
want to
done.
prices right you.
And I'm going to give you the top
No, you
10
should've.
teams.
I know. I should have.
These are the best team save percentage teams in the league. And
Hey.
I'll give you
I
the top
wanna
10.
guess.
No, we're not going to guess.
I want to.
We're not going to guess
wanna
this.
guess.
Here's the top 10.
Can we guess number 3?
Okay, we're going to guess all 32 teams in order or no one leaves.
Yeah.
Can we guess number 3?
You can guess number 3, and it's
Okay.
the same save percentage as the Wild.
Oh, so it's
Same team save
9:15?
percentage. They also have a 915.
The Carolina Hurricanes.
No, but they're up there. No, they're not actually. They're 14th.
Oh, they're
But
not
they've got
up
the
there.
most.
They're middle of the
They have
pack.
the most shutouts in the league, though. Strangely,
Islanders?
Islanders,
Let's go.
Ilya!
and then followed by the Nashville Predators,
Of course.
Nice.
Colorado Avalanche,
Winnipeg's got to be up there.
Dallas Stars, New York Rangers, Vegas Golden Knights,
No?
Winnipeg Jets, and number 10, your Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
With a 908. Pretty wild, eh? That Boston's that far ahead. Like it's
Yep.
just
been
it's just a
stupid.
crazy year.
All congrats to them. 63 wins, all-time record.
And they're
they
not
did it.
done.
No, they got a couple games left. Tack on a few.
Just
Yeah, the history of the 4 major sports has been that the team that has the most wins ever never wins the championship. So it's a curse. Seattle Mariners, I think it was. They lost the MLB. Tom Brady, you brought that up. You brought that up a couple weeks
That
ago.
was a crazy year in football. I loved it.
Oh yeah, they lost to the Giants there. What about NBA?
Like
it
Eli
is-
Manning. Brady versus Eli Manning. Like, come
Oh
on.
yeah,
Come on.
twice, 2 times.
2 times.
NBA is the Golden State Warriors. The down up 3-1 to LeBron.
Like, come on.
Draymond decides to get kicked out. Changes the whole series. LeBron does the unbelievable comeback. They had the most wins ever in regular season. And then the Tampa Bay Lightning, they lost. So the record for the Lightning, I think, is the most points ever.
I thought the Red Wings had that. Or no.
So the Red Wings
had the most wins.
Wins ever. They won the Stanley
They
Cup.
lost too.
But if you go,
They didn't win the Cup that
so
year.
they lose that year.
They lost
Yeah.
in the Western Conference to Colorado.
Oh yeah, so yeah, most wins ever. The Lightning and the Red Wings, they both lost. So if history says anything,
It's that Boston doesn't give a shit about your history and they're going to win another fucking championship.
knows?
That fucking
Who
city
knows?
with all their goddamn rings. So sick of their shit.
listen, it's the playoffs and you play the games for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't picture them losing 4 out of 7.
Well, at least not to their first round opponent, who is like currently it's going to be.
it's gonna be Pittsburgh. I think.
You think?
I mean,
like, okay, you know,
Columbus should not have beaten Tampa.
if the Islanders,
They shouldn't have,
if the
so-
Islanders sneak in,
It's
the Islanders give them a hard time.
Pittsburgh. It's gonna.
I
Be
know
Pittsburgh.
it's going to be Pittsburgh, but it does. It is in Pittsburgh's hands.
In all honesty, we should all be rooting for the Sabres, but
I mean,
it's
that's
very
cool.
unlikely.
That's true. It would be cool.
out of I mean the Sabres are a long shot. So if they make it, I mean they're hot and everything. But out of the 3 teams that have been in that battle for a while, the Panthers, the Islanders, and the Penguins, I think the Islanders at least give them a hard time. I think the Panthers soften them up.
Panthers are a
Still-
tough team.
Yeah, but still probably losing like 5. The Penguins, I'm just not. I'm a huge Sidney Crosby believer.
But the rest.
I think
The
they
rest.
get fucking slapped.
You don't like Tristan Jarry?
He is one of the most mystifying goaltenders in the league to me.
He's either the best or he's the worst.
You know
Yeah,
what?
man. Like every time I watch the highlights, I'm like, oh, that wasn't a good goal. That
I
wasn't
like
a good
the-
goal either. And then I look at his numbers and they're good.
I think it's the rest of the team. The Penguins don't know what they want to be. And like, honestly,
They're soft.
when you look at how Hextall and Burke in their previous jobs were, The Flyers didn't know what they wanted to be, and the Flames didn't know what they wanted to be. So now they got them both under one roof, and not the team still doesn't know what it wants to be. It almost fired 2 draft picks to the Canucks for JT Miller, who had a fight last night. Did you guys see that?
No.
He squared up and had a fight. It was good.
He when he's actually dialed in is like the perfect hockey player.
Yeah.
It's just he so often isn't.
And I'm sure on Pittsburgh he would have been and will be this offseason when they inevitably trade.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are happy with the job that Hextall's done so far in Pittsburgh, and like I can't really blame them with you see how the season's gone, like what the
I'm
acquisitions
just
he's done.
surprised that a team managed by Brian Burke and Ron Hextall is a team that like Brian Burke and Ron Hextall could probably beat in a fight now.
Oh, if Ron Hextall gets on the ice, he's instantly the most violent player for the Penguins.
Yeah.
No. Yevgeny Malkin exists.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He's gonna.
Sorry,
cut-
Hextall's
he's
in
gonna
your face
cut
violent.
legs.
Thank God that guy plays hockey.
Malkin.
Imagine he was just walking around in normal society. Like, we'd all be in danger.
Yeah.
No, that
But
guy-
after Malkin,
The stick bandit.
Yeah.
He strikes again.
comes out of alleys and friggin'
Right across both angles.
nice bag of groceries.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not your
Terrorizing
toughest
werewolves.
hockey team there.
They're not. I don't know. I'm with you, Steve. I don't believe
There's
in
some
it.
like Brian brought in Hextall, right?
I think they
Or
were
did
brought
he
in-
inherit?
I don't think so.
So, like,
Maybe. I'm not sure.
yeah, no, I gotta just do a quick Google, but like that's a situation where I could see Brian bringing in somebody else.
It's a situation where I
doesn't
could
go well.
see the Penguins at the draft going, to quote Calvin and Hobbes, hamster Huey and the gooey kablooey. I could see them fucking making some huge moves.
I think they probably will. And they got to go for it. I do think if the Islanders get in, guys, of all the teams that we mentioned, Florida, obviously the Island, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, they're the team that give Boston the hardest time, the Islanders. There's no question.
I guess.
They can't score, but you don't need to win in the playoffs, honestly. And, you've got, they're just, here's what it is.
A team that
Boston
can't
still
score.
probably wins in 5. But it's
I don't see
every,
them taking
every
longer than 5.
shift, every period sucks.
Yeah.
And what as Leaf fans we need is A, to beat Tampa. B, we need Boston to not feel so fucking good about themselves. Because if you can at least push that door open just a little bit on the doubt meter, just a little bit, that's all you need.
No, we need them to play the softest option, and here's why.
Okay.
Supposedly,
So it's like Calgary Edmonton last year in the second round, or what?
I can't remember where I saw the stat, but a team coming off a sweep
I saw this too.
has beaten, a team coming off a sweep has lost to a team coming off a 7-game series 6 out of the last 7 times.
Yeah, it's like an 85% hit rate.
I want to. Was that Mike Johnson on TSN?
I forget.
I can't remember.
It was.
I
It might be
can't
a
rem-
tweet or
it's-
something like that. Yeah, the teams that sit around, they don't do well in the playoffs.
And Boston, I think, has had so much success this season because of how engaged they've been.
Yeah,
And I mean, practice.
Do you really think
is
that's
still
going to be a problem for
practice.
these guys?
it might,
I mean, no, but I'm
these
trying to talk myself
historically,
into it.
historically, it has been though.
It has.
So.
I don't know. It's hard. Again, like I guess I'm jumping off Steve here, but it's hard to bet against that. Hard to bet against that experience.
With the Penguins, the Mario and Ron Burke, I believe the 2 co-owners who kind of oversee the Penguins, they brought in Hexy. Burkle might be.
it's Burkle.
Yeah, Burkle. Sorry. They brought in Burke and Hextall at the same time. So they were named GM and president at the same time. So I could see a situation, just seeing how Hextall's done the job so far, Burke going to Mr. Lemieux and being like, hey, I want to bring in my guy.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, so Jeff Merrick is tweeting as of 6 minutes ago, Leafs mystery goaltender may be Matt Onuska of the Windsor Spitfires. Kyle Cushman retweeted him and said Matt Onuska had a .898 save percentage in 33 games for Windsor. He's a Waterloo native, 3 postseason games for the Spitfires, and they were shockingly swept by Kitchener in the first round.
Oh, yeah, we never talked about that story. That was extremely rare. I mean, Kitchener and Windsor have had some unbelievable playoff battles back and forth. This was Kitchener getting one up on them.
Yeah, Kitchener, they were supposed to be a lot better than they were in this regular season. Like coming into this season, Kitchener was supposed to be a better team, and then they finished 8th in the conference. They go up against Windsor. It's an 8-1, obviously, but it was a little underrated team, and that's Shane Wright. Like that's the big thing is why it was a big deal is Shane Wright, this whole back and forth all year, you know. Windsor trades the entire farm of 8-year-old draft picks that they have, you know, the kids 20 years from now who can be drafted. They trade all those picks to acquire Shane Wright, and then you get swept. You know, it's fucking devastating for him, and now he's got to go play in the AHL.
If I'm not mistaken, when Taylor Hall, before he was drafted, and the Windsor Spitfires won the Memorial Cup, the next year they played Jeff Skinner's Kitchener Rangers in the OHL playoffs. Skinner's Kitchener Rangers were up 3-0 in the series. Windsor came back and won the Memorial Cup. They've had some battles, Windsor and Kitchener.
Well, anyway, should be interesting to see if that actually ends up happening.
On the OHL news, also Connor Bedard.
I'm just going to that.
Junior.
Oh, it's
in my lineup.
What we're talking about.
For goodness sakes.
We don't even need Adam.
Yeah, no. Fuck
I was actually going to go to the Women's Worlds next, but if you would like to go to
No,
Connor
we're
Bedard-
literally talking about the OHL
all right,
playoffs.
then Connor Bedard sucks, and they got eliminated.
Is he
Moving on.
bad?
He is all of a sudden bad.
Could he drop to the 3rd round and the Leafs get him?
You know what? Is that the first time the Leafs draft?
I don't know.
I mean, really.
Oh, no, they got the Bruins pick for
Yeah,
Here's
they
the
got
thing.
they have a first-round pick.
Here's the thing: 7 games
Why?
in the series.
Sandine, right?
They lost. It's crazy that they lost to the Blades like 4-1. He had 20 points in that series.
in the series.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
Pretty sure.
Or just in the playoffs.
What's the number?
Connor Bedard.
Stop.
You guys are making me. You guys are making me recheck everything.
You
now.
shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Okay.
So no, but that would have mean they scored 20 goals in 5 games and they lost.
In 7 games, he had
Oh,
20 points. I was right. He had 10 goals and 10 assists.
Wow.
And they lost 4-1.
Okay, please show me the rest of the team for scoring.
I guess we'll have to look up Regina
Immediately.
Pats.
I thought I didn't know it was a 7-game series. I thought it was a 5-game series.
So first off,
They don't have the playoff stats.
they don't have the playoff stats.
Well, that's a bit of a.
Why does Hockey DB not have that? Okay, Regina
know.
Pats. Hold on, I'll just look it up.
Holy shit! He's so
He's
fucking
crazy good.
What day is it? May 8th? Lottery day?
I think so, dude. This guy. Well,
Okay, so Stanislav Sovil had 13 points in 7 games. Alexander Sudzalev?
Did they lose every game 10-6?
Yeah, they actually had. There was a lot of guys with a lot of points. It's sort of
in a
surprising.
7-game series, he outscored his closest teammate by 7.
Yes. He was the player of the week. He had 4 goals and
That's unreal.
Sorry, in 4 games he had 11 points. He's just crazy.
Wow.
Now, I don't know if this is wise for him, given that he's going to be the first overall pick, but also nothing he does is going to change that. Like, Canada for the men's world championship, like, I forget every professional hockey player who's available. That might be your number 1 center.
Oh, yeah.
What an alien.
I don't think he wanted it. Like, right now, it's probably the mindset, go get ready for the draft, you know? Like,
Yeah, that's
go
probably
get ready for a training camp kind of thing, you know? Take some time after now.
Well, he's
and-
going to have to now.
This
Doesn't have a choice.
this is your last summer of your life where you're not going to be an NHLer. Like,
Well,
Maybe
he's never
his
had a
His life is
burger.
about to change.
He's never had a burger in his life, so it's not like he's going to go have fun.
He doesn't have to have a burger for another 40 years.
No,
you
that's I
know?
guess not. But it's wild to me that that you could have points like that and still lose. But then I think about Connor McDavid in the OHL final versus the Jennies, and you were there, were you not?
5 games. 5 games. Yeah, I remember Dylan Strome getting upset.
Travis Dermott was on that team, I thought.
I think he was.
What happened?
They lost in 5 to Oshawa, but Dylan Strome got upset because they asked about him, like, were you playing hurt? Because he was such a non-factor, and he insists that he wasn't. But they were triple teaming McDavid,
Right.
like, and just leaving everyone else completely just wide open.
Were you at the clinching game?
I was at the clinching game.
That must have been
Did they
cool.
let you on the ice?
They did. Yeah, I took some pictures. Ken Appleby, who was the goalie of the the Gens, and I got a nice picture of him and Sean McKenzie and a few other people, and I got on the ice.
Nice.
Yeah, I couldn't get into the McDavid scrum. It was too big.
What a surprise!
It was too big.
Isn't that the year too he got into a fight and broke his wrist or something like that? Wasn't there something?
Yes, it is. His hand.
His hand.
Yeah.
He fought someone on
In,
Mississauga,
January.
missed, and he hit, I think, the lip of the boards. And I know, right? And he
Brutal.
broke his hand.
Why is Connor McDavid fighting ever?
And it really hurt his draft stock.
Yeah, man. Bummer didn't work out for him, eh?
Whatever happened to that guy?
We might go Eichel now.
If you missed it, Canada and the United States had a absolute classic.
Which is weird. That never happens.
The Leafs game ended in OT. John Tavares scored that, and then you flip over, and the USA Canada was heading right into 3-on-3 OT.
Yeah,
it
the
was perfect timing.
Women's World. So to kind of set it up, Canada's up at the end of the first, and then Hillary Knight scores a controversial goal, and it's controversial because Canada challenged for an offside, but they couldn't get on camera whether or not she was offside. By the way, Hillary Knight was 1,000% offside because when you actually look at it, she's like 3 feet over the blue line when the pass comes, but it doesn't matter because if you didn't get it on camera, it counts.
Yeah,
and
it is what it is.
And I'm a completely biased Canadian fan, but she was 1,000% offside, but you can't call it back, which was the right thing. I'm glad they did the right thing. Mm-hmm. And then USA scores with like a second to go. Overtime solves nothing, and they both score off the top in the shootout, and then they go 9 more rounds. And former guest of Noxie and Cax, woo!
Jamie Lee Rattray
scores in the shootout. It was a crazy move too. Crazy move.
Canada and the U.S. have a long history of crazy moves, clinching the shootout. So I'm glad Canada came out on top on this one.
The one thing I have not seen this time, and I'm so grateful for it.
An American gold medal.
Oh, I hate an American gold medal, especially at the expense of Canada. But every time there would be a classic, like immediately following the 2010 Olympics, when they're like, wow, we heard Haley Wickenheiser gets on the mic and said, we heard they had our flag on the floor in their dressing room, which apparently was not true. But
I don't care. It's enough that she believed it.
But it's enough that she believed, right? We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah. I don't care.
It was great. But immediately following that, you had some bum writer who had nothing else to write about that day say, should women's hockey even be in the Olympics? There's really only 2 teams.
In 2002, someone wrote
2010.
that?
2010.
Oh, 10.
That happens. That happened every single time. And what we did not see yesterday, was somebody writing some bullshit article like that. Do you know that the Olympics almost got rid of women's hockey legitimately because of that? They had real discussions about it.
In 2010, the final was a 2-0 Canadian victory where Shannon Zabados had to stand on her head.
Yes.
So it was close.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I guess the argument is it's not close.
There's
those
nobody
2 teams.
else.
That's stupid.
It's a stupid
Yeah,
argument.
but
I'm so glad nobody's made that argument. It's just, what a great game. Debian was amazing in net.
Look how the other countries have come on.
Well,
since then.
Yeah. The one thing I got a problem with this fucking tournament is
what grinds your gears, Jesse Blake?
they're hosting the medal round, the medal round games still in Brampton. And I thought like they would have moved it to a bigger venue. I thought like, okay, we get to like the bigger games. Maybe they couldn't do it, I guess, because of the scheduling, because you can't book Scotiabank for a date when the Raptors and Leafs might be in the playoffs. I get that.
Yeah.
It's kind of taken, but there's so many arenas around the GTA that hold more than, I think it's like 5,000 that they got.
That Hamilton one is
It's not the greatest building.
The one they're building right now, the Oakview group, the one they're in the plans for, they're the same people that built Seattle and I think Vegas as well. They are building an arena in Southern Ontario. And everybody keeps telling me there's no way that there's an NHL team that's going in there, even though it's a closed door, like you said, it's a closed roof, 20,000 person arena. Definitely not going to be another NHL team in Southern Ontario.
See, I was thinking of all these buildings. It's an international tournament though. So you got people flying in from here, there, and everywhere, and then you don't want them to have to take like an hour and a half drive after that, maybe even longer. I mean, Brampton's, 20 minutes from the airport.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I just think...
Yes. So I don't know. I just checked. It's 5,000 seats.
Yeah,
I wish they held like the big Canada US game at a place that could support 15,000 fans.
I agree with you.
That was my only hiccup with the way the women's.
And
World
I
was
think
playing.
it's time for another arena. It's time for like Cops.
Yeah, like in the GTA.
Cops is old, right? Cops in Hamilton is like was built in the late 70s for a Hamilton NHL team that never came. It's time for a new arena. And it's and the thing is that Scotiabank Arena, even if the Leafs and Raptors weren't in the playoffs, it's booked 320 nights a year. So the chances of you being able to just get in there on a snap, it's impossible. Like it is time. Like they could use another one. What was the one we went to when we saw Eric Young?
Paramount Fine Food Center in Mississauga.
That's right. Now, how many do you think are in that? Is that not?
Oh
Like
my
10,000?
gosh, that's the same thing. That's Steelheads building.
What's
That's
Coca-Cola
a
Coliseum?
couple thousand. That's probably 3,000 or whatever.
Like where the Marlies plays.
That's
7,000?
like
Marley's
7,000.
7 something. Yeah.
Yeah. See, like that would be nice, but again, it could have been playoff.
Even that,
implications.
like it's 2,000. I would have liked to see it in a major league
I'm with you.
arena.
I'm
know?
with you.
That was my. It's Canada, USA. It's Women's Worlds. It feels a little small in
I agree.
in 5,000.
And in a
you
town
know?
like this, it would sell it in a heartbeat. Yeah. Right. So anyway,
And I'm just assuming it's going to be Canada USA in the finals. Like I'm jumping to a lot of
wow.
conclusions
What
here.
happens when you assume, Jesse?
Makes an ass out of you and me.
That's right.
Jinx Canada is
I
what
know.
happens. Can't wait for the U.S.-Finland final after I made my cheeky little comment.
A couple things I just want to, or last two things I want to mention. If we're going to do a press conference, we can move to that. Last night was the first time in NHL history where two players got 1,000 points, hit 1,000 points on the same night. The first one was Claude Giroux.
Oh,
Timmy
yeah.
Stützle drove. He dove for a goal this time, which
Nah.
is crazy. And Joe
Brendan
Pavel-
Gallagher really fucked up the perception of that guy.
No, but
And
he-
Joe Pavelski?
I mean, did Brendan Gallagher or did Tim Stützle completely deserve everything that's coming to him with the
It's a
diving?
little option A, option B.
Joel Pavelski got his on the same night as well. So not bad. Not bad. Pretty cool.
For a guy who's pretty revered, it feels like Joe Pavelski's still had an underrated career.
He has. He
and
has.
I always go back to this moment in time. He's like a Hall of Famer if he scores on that Scott Niedermayer giveaway in the gold medal game in 2010. All of history changes.
He is the devil. He was the devil, was he not?
Pavelski?
Oh, Pavelski. No, what was he at? It was San Jose?
Yeah, he
Why
would
did I
have
say
been a
devil?
shark.
No, yeah. You're right.
it
If he
Niedermayer?
scored, he would be for sure.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah, Niedermayer gave it away. Pavelski wasn't able to bury it on Lou, and within 30 seconds, Canada won the gold medal. Same shift, no whistle. I wrote about it in the book. I was like, I was thinking about it. So there would have been a little celebration, and then he probably would have had his gold medal and gone on. I think it was Jimmy Kimmel with. The guest he would have been on with was Sarah Palin.
Well, that's quite the guess.
Like I was just picturing how
Wow.
much history would change.
She had a moment.
wow.
She certainly did, and Joe Pavelski would have as well.
Oh yeah.
He didn't bury it.
One last thing. The NHL's digitally enhanced dasher boards were nominated for a 2023 Sports Emmy.
What?
That's old though, right?
As of 16 minutes ago.
What?
Because they won some other award too.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, this is like the Emmys are like the television awards, right? In the
Oh,
States.
okay.
I watched a player disappear behind the boards yesterday.
Yeah.
Emmy. That's an Emmy disappearing player to you, sir.
Oh dear.
Do we want to do the press conference quick?
Yeah,
Let's
let's
do
do
it.
it. This is from hipster_crayon
Good name.
on Twitter.
Good name.
They asked, what's the best cheese on a cheeseburger?
Oh. I don't think you overthink this, man. Cheddar.
I like a sharp cheddar, but in second place is a nice Havarti.
Yeah.
Havarti on a burger might change your life.
Yeah.
It's delish.
Like
Or cheese curds. You ever tried cheese curds on a burger? Like melt them onto the burger?
I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm skeptical of that.
why
You don't
are
like cheese curds?
skeptical of that?
On a burger?
Oh yeah.
I don't
Let
know.
them melt in.
We're complicating burgers
Fresh,
here.
oily cheese that squeaks
What
when you chew
what
on
about
it.
good old American cheese, like Kraft Singles?
Well, that's cheddar. American cheese is cheddar.
yeah.
You
Kraft
put,
singles though.
you put the cheese curd into the patty.
No, I wouldn't do that.
What
No?
are you doing?
No.
I'm
no.
making a delicious
because the cheese, you have to put a cheese in there that isn't gonna melt. That's why you put like a feta in that, because it doesn't melt like that.
But it's got some like.
I'm telling you, put it
feta
on top.
too.
Put it on top. Change your life.
Feta on a lamb burger.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Or
absolutely.
goat cheese on a lamb burger.
Yep, goat cheese on a turkey burger.
Goat cheese is delicious.
Better on a
goat
You
cheese
do
is
cranberry
fucking
goat cheese
fantastic.
turkey burger patty. Trust me.
Is that what you
Cranberry sauce. goat cheese.
Cranberry is amazing too. Cranberry goes on anything.
It's just super good.
Yeah, no, Adam's got that right.
Thank you, Jesse.
And but that's all you're doing is making stuffing in a burger form.
It's a Thanksgiving burger.
Like you literally you have bread, cranberry, and turkey.
Yeah.
You just made stuffing with turkey.
Right. And it took 20 minutes rather than 4 hours.
Served,
so much better.
Served by someone with a buckle on their hat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And shoes that kind of curl at the end.
Yeah, like an elf.
And lamb that's not theirs. All right. So this is from Carlos C. Mommer. Do you think the world would be safer if Adam was in charge of nuclear weapons? Given that he cannot enter the right password in his PC, he sure as hell would not enter the nuclear codes correctly.
So
That might be true, actually.
the great thing is, between his yacht and seasoned seats, Adam knows numerous world leaders. So if they ever told him the passwords, he'd forget them. So maybe Adam would end all global conflict because you would just forget every password.
Well, I would. I could bluff. I could really bluff. But yeah, when it came down to it, even if I made the decision for a tactical nuclear strike, we couldn't pull it off. And then I think that's a good thing to have.
Yeah, Adam could definitely bluff. BLUF. Is it F underscore? Is it BLU? Fuck!
Yeah.
Jesse!
Yeah.
This is from Miro for Norris. What's the most aesthetically pleasing to watch? A great goal, a great pass, or a great save?
Ooh.
I'm trying to imagine
Good
Steve.
question.
Trying to imagine Steve at the 2010 Olympics final when Niedermeyer gives the puck up to Joel Pavelski. And
On my end of the ring,
the
too.
terror of watching Pavelski go in unencumbered, and then the relief of Luongo making the save.
I've always been a save guy.
I feel like that would have been fever pitch intensity.
Oh, it was insane. It was Nike wanted me to like tweet during that. That's back when you had to text your tweets to Twitter.
Oh
Remember
yeah.
that?
God, I
Yeah.
feel old. It was
God, you remember that?
21212 send. yeah, fucking
Wow. Yeah, we
Ridiculous.
used to do that.
Yeah. And yeah, I just remember we all shot ourselves. I am still, every now and then, I find a video from the stands in that game that I haven't seen yet, because I just want and hope with all my heart that someone got me.
Oh,
But because of where I was sitting, I was so high up and I was so in the corner that it's very unlikely. The only chance I would have is if someone behind me and like to my right was shooting down at Crosby in the corner.
right.
Because Crosby was on, when Iginla falls down, he disappeared behind the boards on my side of the ice. Mm-hmm. Fuck.
I think
I just want to relive that moment.
I think a save in overtime would be crazy, but like again, I remember freaking out over the Crosby goal. I remember being at a bar and just losing. Everybody lost their minds. I was at the game. I was at a bar for the game where the Leafs came back and scored like 4 goals in 2 minutes against the Columbus Blue Jackets, and that was nuts too. I don't know. It's a tough one.
I had to be quiet for that because Leo was like a month old.
Oh.
Right.
So I was like, nah.
Crazy.
This is from 40_Helmy. I'm getting a cat soon. Name suggestions?
Do you want it to be like Leaf related or?
They said can be Leafs related, Pokemon, etc. So I think they're open to anything.
Cathew Nyes.
Oh,
Or Austin Cathews.
cat trick.
Catrick.
Catrick's
Oh, that's good.
Cat trick.
I like
Carlo.
animals that have like just plain people names. Like I like a dog named Jared. You know, or like a cat named Melissa.
Well, our cat's name is Theodore. Teddy.
Yeah,
for
that's
short,
funny.
But it's Theodore.
That's hilarious. That's a good time.
Frank.
Yeah. Like your dog's name's Frank.
What's the most
Frank
like
stops shitting on the floor.
of all the names on the Leafs? What's like the old man name?
Mark, technically.
Not like that though.
Oh,
Marcus is a good name for a cat.
I mean, John isn't exactly in vogue right now. Like,
Right.
John's like fairly
still
on
up
the way
there.
down,
It's pretty
though.
ubiquitous.
Eh.
Yeah.
It's on the way down.
It's the whole
names.
Bible support on that. There's a lot of Johns out there.
not as many as there used to be.
Yeah.
You're sticking to
Leo
that.
was not in daycare with a lot of John.
Okay.
If you call him by his full name and not Willie, William is very regal and
Oh.
old. You know, it's a very old English name.
You reminded me of an old story. I don't remember if I've told this 1,000 times on the show, but you'll tell me.
Probably.
When you said
I
like
got like 3 stories.
Frank's, shut up. When you said Frank stopped shitting on the carpet. Ever tell you about my neighbors and their dog?
No, this is a new one.
So here you go. So when I was growing up, this is my parents' house. We had a family on one side that was Macedonian and a family on the other side that was Filipino. This is important to the story because the Macedonian family had a dog, a very misbehaved dog named Lola.
Okay.
Lola would always get lost. Lola would always chew stuff. Lola would always bark at everything. And they were constantly saying, Lola, stop that! Lola pooped all over the place. Where's Lola? Has anyone seen Lola? And you would always hear the Filipino neighbors laughing from their backyard because Lola means grandma.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, grandma got out again. Has anyone seen grandma? Grandma!
It's like they're yelling grandma
Enough!
shit on the floor.
Grandma, enough! In!
That's
good.
amazing. I like that.
So you would just hear, Lola! Ah!
So here's your cat name. Ready? I was thinking about it while he was telling that story.
Oh, Adam wasn't listening.
No, I was listening. Poston.
Yeah,
Cathy's.
Boston,
There it
Cathy's,
is.
Yeah. Oh,
You're garbage.
That's totally worth not
That was
listening.
great.
I want you to go
I
to
heard the
bed
story.
tonight feeling like a failure.
I think I'd heard that story too. I knew that story.
Fuck!
There you go.
I know all his
I
stories.
hate when I do that.
We can end on a special shout out to Tim McAuliffe. Today's the last day
Hey.
of Tim and Friends.
Is it?
That's a show that in its first incarnation, Tim and Sid. You know, there's a lot of, it's very near and dear to our hearts. And
Yes.
as it transitioned over Tim and Friends, it's a last kind of television of sports that's moving away from TV in Canada. You know, so it's sad to see it go, but he's going to do amazing things over at Sportsnet Central because the content that Tim has created over the years has always kind of hit in some way. So I'm excited to see what that is. But yeah, last episode here today, they're doing it live from the Rogers Center for the Jays Jays opening day.
Rest in peace, daytime sports talk in this country. It's such a shame.
Yeah.
It's why we're able to exist, though. To be honest.
You know what? That's what this needed, a depressing angle.
Well, but what Jesse mentioned it. Like we grew up with like, you know, we had Tim and Sid before, and before that it was Landsberg, and like we had all those shows. It's such a bummer, but Tim is gonna kill it.
I mean, you could see the look on my face. Like I'm depressed about it.
Yeah,
But he's got another show, and he's going to kill it the way he always does.
and I
I'm
love that they
excited to
kept
see
the
him
whole
kill it.
crew. That was cool too.
Yes.
Love that.
Yep.
So good for them. Jesse, any Tim McAuliffe memories to share before we go? What's your favorite Tim McAuliffe memory?
Favorite
Because you worked on the show.
Yeah. Favorite Tim McAuliffe memory. Oh man, I don't know if I have one in particular. One thing Tim doesn't get enough credit for, I'll say this, is how athletic he is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like what? Because Sid was never the athletic amongst the two.
Yeah. What?
Tim's the more
No
athletic
way.
guy, but Tim's got some like real skills. Like on the Tim and Sid set, there's a whole bunch of sports stuff all the time, and there's one shot they always use, one replay of him hitting the basketball shot over his shoulder.
So that's real.
That's real, 100%.
Wow.
And like there's a hockey stick on set, always handling it, always playing it. That dude grew up playing sports at like a high level, like high school level, and it still carries like in his elder years.
What's his?
He still has it, and it's very impressive to see him just like play with a football.
What
and
is he
that
best
shit.
at?
Sports hosting.
Other than that,
In terms of what?
like what would be his best sport? If he if we're like, Tim, you can play one pro game in any sport of your choosing, what do you think he's
Oh,
thinking?
I have no idea. Probably because he
hockey.
was a really decent football player. Like, I don't know if he'd get out there. Like, if it was amongst people of his vintage,
Yes.
you know, he'd probably be the best football player in his class.
Wow.
Probably a great running back right now.
Damn.
You know, if he's playing a bunch of other guys in his age bracket, probably an amazing running back.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
Love that. Well, shout out to them. That's cool. And the new Rogers Center looks like fun too. So
I want to have beer and mystery meat there.
there's lots of.
The poutine hot dog thing that the Chris Johnson show has been
Oh man,
going at.
I'm going to try it.
How would you not try that?
By being a stick in the mud.
Julian doesn't want it, right?
Julian.
I can't believe he doesn't want that.
That's just him being like
Difficult?
difficult.
It's
Quebecer
cheese and
about-
gravy.
No, it's a
and
disgrace.
a hot dog.
Oh,
I would
try
definitely.
it.
I would feel it later. Like I would need to take a Tums beforehand. But
yeah.
It was-
You'd have some wars with the toilet.
yeah. But damn it, I'd enjoy it for the 30 seconds it took me to eat it.
It's like Italians fainting when you put pineapple on pizza. Like, what? No, let's just try a new thing.
Right.
Knock that off.
Are you a pro pineapple on pizza guy?
No, but I'm not anti.
Yeah, it's not that serious.
No.
Like, that's my whole thing. It's like, I don't know. Try a topping on a pizza. If you like it, you don't. Why are you going to war with this?
Oh, man.
Because we're all stuck at home and it was the pandemic.
You know
probably.
what I just remembered?
Yeah.
When we went to the Jens game.
No.
So someone there.
We went a couple times. Which
Yeah, oh yeah, sorry. Well, there was one Jens game where someone in some sort of management in the building offered us free snacks. And they had it was like an ice cream, or no, it was a waffle cone, but it was filled with mashed potatoes and popcorn chicken.
Oh.
You don't remember this?
I remember that. And I didn't eat it, but I remember you ate it.
Would I order that at a restaurant?
It wasn't mashed potatoes, was it?
It was like a full
think it was.
Thanksgiving thing. That's what it felt
Yeah.
like, or Easter.
Would
Because we went in the playoffs, right?
Would I order that at a restaurant? Fuck no. Would I have that at a sport event just to say I did? Absolutely, positively.
And was it worth it?
Well, it was free, so yeah.
All right. Well, listen, we're 9 minutes late to a meeting we were supposed to have. So why don't we wrap up the show?
I'm like 90% sure I have a photo of this.
Of the popcorn?
Yeah.
Okay, now we're 10 minutes late.
Okay.
Do you want me to pull it up? Is
Just
it
put
worth
it on the screen.
Is it worth it?
Put it up.
Is it? I gotta find it.
Do they still sell it? That's my question.
I don't know.
No, I doubt it.
No, okay.
I think it was a one-time thing, to be honest.
You were there the one time. The one damn time.
So, the Leafs still don't have a goalie, huh?
No, not as of the end of
the
this.
fuck?
I know.
All right, cool.
I'll put it on screen.
I bet
I'll get it after.
I bet Kyle's pretty happy. I bet he's having a pretty happy time with NHL right now.
Can't wait for the Lightning to pump the Leafs 21.
It's going to be a fun watch.
The Steve Dangle Podcast.
Powered by Sports Interaction. Want to bet?
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.